This is the Pinemen.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Pinemen. As I adjust
Immediately goes dark.
my lighting here, because we got the professional setup going. Hopefully I'm not blasted with too much light there. I don't know. It's just the way it is, I guess. Here we go. That's fine.
All right. Volumes, everything sounds good so
Okay.
far.
Yeah, it's just we got to check that every single time, because we're only 8 episodes in here, and apparently that's not enough to learn how to do the most basic things that are pretty much automated. You kind of set it and forget it, but sometimes it just doesn't work out that way.
Yeah. Yeah. Like we said last time, even moving locations can ruin.
Yeah, apparently. I didn't know that was possible, but they probably TSA must have changed my settings so on my computer.
Yeah.
They were trying to sabotage the show because they saw that we were gaining popularity with our 7 subs.
And they were like, we need to stop these men.
Yeah. They knew.
They're spreading too much wisdom around the world.
Yeah, their reach is on what's the word? I don't know. It knows no limits.
Yeah. Hashtag cancel the Pinemen has been trending on Twitter for weeks.
Yeah, I heard Trump tweeted about it.
Yeah. Everyone's all upset. Yeah. It's all right, though, comes with the territory.
Back. We'll be all right.
Can't cancel us.
Our Disco Elysium streams will carry us.
Yeah. Even those are spicy.
Yeah, actually, in fact, how can it not be? Like all I want to do when I see that is, a lot of things, but I won't say it.
Yeah. So I was at the grocery store earlier today.
Okay.
And I was swooping in behind an old guy. I love how I talk about the grocery store so often.
Yeah, right. I guess that's where a lot goes down.
One of the few things that I do very frequently is go to the grocery store.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm swooping behind this guy. And I'm like, excuse me. And notify him that I'm behind him. And when I say excuse me, he just steps backwards right into me and steps on my foot. And then starts teetering for a minute. Being like, oh, for like too long. And I'm like, sir, you need to relax. You're okay. You're not falling.
Oh my God. Poor guy.
Yeah, no. He was just an old guy that was in a daze.
Oh, all right. Well, I respect that. I'm not even an old guy, and I'm sometimes in a daze in the grocery store.
Same. But yeah, I don't know. For some reason, it always irks me a little bit when people aren't paying attention to their immediate surroundings.
I have that too. Yeah, I mean, if it's an honest mistake, obviously it is what it is. But I feel like you almost have like a responsibility to just be aware. You know what I mean? Especially for like an old guy. It's like, how did you get this far? You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude. You see some old people and you really feel that way.
Yeah, or even
you've really been doing the bare minimum this whole time, haven't
you? Whenever you see like anybody who's an adult, it just feels like they should know better.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, how have you gotten this far? I mean, I don't mean to bash this guy. I'm just kind of, whatever. No. That happens to all of us, I guess, at some point.
This guy
maybe he's made it 70 years,
and
that was the
larger concept.
Yeah, maybe that was the first time that's ever happened to him. So.
Yeah, that's why he was so shocked.
He thought
never in his life has he almost fell.
As he was teetering, he's like, "Oh, I've made it this far. How is this? It's finally catching up to me. I knew this day would come eventually."
Could you imagine? I mean, I'm sure there's some people. No, can there?
Who've never stepped on a man's foot and almost fell.
Yeah.
It's probably a decent amount. Actually, no, honestly, because I mean, yeah, with friends, especially when you're just goofing around, hanging out or whatever, especially when you're a teenager or whatever, you trip over your friends.
Too near people. People are standing too near all around.
Yeah. Man. Well, hopefully he recovers. Hopefully you're doing okay after that.
My foot's all right, thankfully. I was worried that he might have like small pins in the bottom of his shoes that would stab into my foot and cause me to contract fatal disease.
Did that cross your
But
mind in the moment?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh man.
Stuff like that crosses my mind every single day.
Yeah, I mean,
But I'm like, no, my foot's not even hurting. It's okay.
oh my god. What he just got back from like what would it even be? Like his
He was walking around in like a junkyard and like a needles just got all stuck in
Oh,
his shoes.
okay. I thought you meant
Yeah,
like he's wearing
yeah.
like baseball cleats or something like that that have like the spikes in them to help you like run better.
Oh yeah, that too maybe.
Yeah, he might have. Probably not
Bunch
though.
of bits of shards of glass.
Yeah. Well, people used to do that, right? I mean, wasn't there like a thing? This is like I don't know enough about this, but I think I've heard a thing about. Oh, I think it was like it made the news like years and years ago. Maybe it was even like 15, 20 years ago. Like kids were like putting razor blades on their shoes and like kicking people in the hallways and stuff like that.
In school,
I think I could be wrong about the details, but yeah,
I remember like
it's kind
I
of an
remember
epic
some
prank
people
though.
would have
Come
like
on.
spikes on their hose, and I remember that like little. I remember seeing someone who had like yeah, like little pins, I guess, sticking out of their boots
Like
in like
some real punk
middle
rockers.
school or something. Yeah, something like
Yeah,
that. Some you know, you know.
yeah. One time they actually in school they banned those spiky bracelets because too many of us absolute rebels were wearing them. Not me, but I knew some people that were. You know, they had to
I
get
wore
rid of them.
them. In middle school, I had some spike bracelets, and they used to get like I used to get in trouble for them all the time.
Oh yeah. Well, I just want to make one clarification. It's not that I didn't own them. I just was too afraid to wear them to
Mm.
school. I didn't want to become the guy
You
with
bought
them.
them because you're like one day I'm gonna get the courage to put these on and go outside.
Exactly.
I know the feeling.
That day never came, but it felt really good to wear them in my room.
Yeah,
Yeah, and listen to like choking victim and stuff.
felt really good to wear in my room.
Hmm.
I mean, it's funny. I remember in middle school always getting dressed up in my room and just like looking in the mirror.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
a
it's
lot.
it's part of being a young
Youth.
a young person trying to find their place in this world, you know?
Yeah, I know, dude. It's funny. Like, we were just talking about TikTok before, and like, you look on TikTok and you see all these youths going through that very similar era of
Yeah.
their life, except they're like doing it online in front of
Oh
like a bunch
God.
of other people and adults and stuff.
Yeah. And it's forever there, cataloged for them to never be
Yeah,
able to forget. I guess they could delete it, but if it ever gets
they could
popular,
delete it.
it's there forever.
Oh yeah,
You know?
yeah, right. You have to see some of these like kids that go viral for like, you know, kind of being a little bit embarrassing from
Hmm.
like a general standpoint, but
Yeah.
they're just trying to figure themselves out and like they're just cute kids trying to figure shit out,
Right.
and then they're like on like front page of Reddit, cringe.
Exactly. No, exactly. Like instead of just
Uh,
sitting there alone in your room, just being like, "Yeah, someday I'm gonna be really cool. I'm gonna wear this in
hmm.
public," and then you kind of just move along in life. Instead, you like forever are like known as well, maybe not known, but you will forever have that memory of the time where you were posted on Cringetopia on Reddit or whatever. You know?
Yeah, exactly, dude. I love that Reddit
Yeah.
page.
Well, they actually
I always look
they
at,
have like blunder years too, right? Where
dude.
people
That one's
look
really
back
funny.
on those goofs. I'm sure I could find some good pictures. It's actually I'm kind of
Oh my god.
we were just talking before. I'm kind of rocking the hairstyle of my youthful days as well. But hey, it's
Yeah,
also the hairstyle of my adult days, I guess. Apparently, even though right now it
yeah.
looks a little bit more of a. You ever see that movie No Country for Old Men?
Yes,
I got the what's
yes,
the guy's name? Javier Bardem or something like that.
yeah.
Yeah, kind of
That's such a
rocking that.
good. It's a good look.
Yeah. I just don't want to wear the hat every single day. Plus, it's kind of hot down here, so you
Oh
know.
yeah. What is the temperature down there in the
Uh,
south?
right now it's 65, so I mean it's not
Um,
like anything crazy, but
not that hot. Yeah.
oh yeah, I'm thinking like you're in New York too, or
Mm-mm.
but because they had the snowstorms and
Oh,
stuff.
snow. Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw. Good old snow.
Yeah, I mean, it has its place. As far as convenience goes, I mean, I guess it's.
It's not
But
the best thing.
I've decided at this point in the history of the world that like it can exist. I accept it. Otherwise, I would have
At
had
this
to
point
tell
in
it
the
to
history of the
stop.
world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's embarrassing.
What?
Tell the snow to stop.
I know. It's like, can you not,
Yeah.
please? And he's gonna
Yeah.
be like, oh shit, get really self conscious and start blushing. Someone should do that.
Mm. I've seen a couple people doing it.
Yeah.
The snow does not listen.
Just outside, like with the shovel, just like stop. Actually, yeah, people probably do that.
Yeah. Oh man, I remember a few years in New York where it's just like it was like blizzard after blizzard. It's just like piles of like ice everywhere.
Yeah.
Do you remember that year? I feel like I don't know, I feel like it was within the past 10 years. There was a year that it was really bad. And like every like walking to the subway in the snow and like just it's like mountain climbing because you're like because everyone's like frozen footprints has like built up, so you're like walking over this like really uneven terrain.
Yeah, that actually brings me back a memory that's not exactly the same, but one time, do you remember we had that party slash basement show at Kevin's house?
Yeah.
And Mike, aka Boat Moses, like fell down his stairs. Not like he didn't get hurt or anything, but he like there was so much snow on like all over the place. It must have been right after like one of those. And yeah, he like kind of slid down the stairs and fell down.
Yeah, dude, I forgot about that. Yeah, I forgot that there was snow that time.
Yeah, because I remember everyone was going outside because they were just like leaving all the beers or whatever outside.
Yeah.
To keep it nice and cold. And
that was a fun show.
That was so much fun.
That was really good. Man, I was just thinking about playing live music again and getting excited about it.
Yeah, actually, I was thinking about that today too. Just like an hour ago, actually, because yeah, I was just like, wow, it is weird that back then I would have not that I would have thought nothing of it, but it was totally a reasonable thing for me to just be like, oh, this weekend I'm gonna like get my guitar and perform music in front of people, and I'm gonna sing into the microphone and stuff like that. Now it's like, I don't know. Am I really? That was me. I did that. What?
I know, right?
I remember
there was a time period where I was like playing shows like once a week.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Or at least like a couple of times a month.
Yeah.
When I was like really going hard, or trying to go hard.
Oh right, when you were with that other band and stuff too, or.
Well, that too.
Yeah.
But there were times with Polka Dot Dress.
Mm-hmm.
And then like that like kind of like overlapped with like another band that was playing a lot, and just like there was like one like summer that was like a lot of live music.
Yeah.
And it was very, very fun.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, but I would love to get back and play. It would be fun to get a band together and.
I'd love to do that. I mean,
yeah,
if we lived closer together still,
yeah,
that would be nice. But
maybe in the near future,
it's
very possible.
I'm available. Just say the word. Just have to. Yeah. I need to I haven't been playing guitar a lot or anything, so it's gotta work on that a little bit. I might just totally suck now, but
I doubt it.
It's not. But
your hands might get a little tired.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking. I gotta my fingers are gonna hurt a little bit, but I actually have a song that
honestly, oh, you do?
Well, I mean, it's like I have the idea of it, and it's like basically the lyrics and the vocal melody is like done, and it's just very lighthearted and cool and stuff. I was actually thinking today that I would even be down to do something with it myself and then send it to you and have you put stuff over it, or
I would love
I feel
that.
like that could be cool.
I really would love to get in the habit of that.
Yeah, I think this could be the one to get started with, because it even has it's really simple. It's kind of, like I said, very lighthearted. It kind of has a Bob Dylan vibe, so Obviously not as good, but you know.
It would
No,
be
it's
so
better.
fun
Just kidding.
to like one like each week try to like finish a song together. And we could even stream it too if like we talked about that one time.
Yeah,
I
that would
like
be cool.
we could do like, you know, hypothetically like Monday I'll send you like a couple of tracks,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and then like you add some stuff to it, and then by like we send it back and forth maybe like twice or whatever,
Yeah.
and then like the when it comes back, we could do like a live stream of like kind of mixing it and adding little stuff to it. Could be fun.
Yeah, that would be cool. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
then
like
we-
I'm trying to think about how I can describe it to you what it is. I don't know. You'll see.
Show me after.
Well, I don't really have anything to show you really, but
Well, I mean,
I'll sing it for you.
you've showed me a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll describe it to you. But not right now cuz it's I don't want to do any spoilers, you know. We got to wait for the big drop, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, keep them on the edge of their seats.
Yeah. It's much anticipated.
Yeah. I think it would. Yeah, it would be cool to like. I mean, think about it. If we worked on a song every week, we could put out like a little album after
Oh my
like
god, yeah. It's like
7 weeks, easy.
by this point, if we started at the same time we started this, we'd have a little thing going. This is already the 8th time doing this.
Yeah, and it'd be fun.
It would be.
So let's put that on the calendar for something to think about and work on.
Yeah. Exactly.
I think that would be a cool idea.
I agree.
I'm excited. There's a lot of good ideas going on. We got plant videos coming soon. We got
Wait for
TikTok
those.
videos coming soon. We got live new songs coming through with possible live streams of finishing them up. That's gonna be good.
Yeah.
And
it'll
more
be
Disco
fun for us,
Elysium
at
hopefully
least.
coming next week as well.
Yeah, hopefully. It's just that
If we, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, are you
just-
coming? Are you gonna be back at your house next week?
that would be Monday. We usually do that. I'm gonna get home like next Friday, so
Oh, okay. So
no.
2 weeks.
So
from
it'll
now,
be
we'll
yeah
back with
2 weeks
Disco.
for that. Yeah, I just don't have the
Oh, maybe
proper
when you-
setup here.
Maybe when you get back, we'll do like a extra long episode or something, or like do 2. That
Oh
week.
yeah, true. Yeah, maybe we could just
Something like that.
do it more than once or something.
Yeah,
That could be cool because that's a lot of fun. That game.
I love that
And
game.
just doing it like the
cannot
way
wait
that
to-
we do it. Yeah,
Yeah, so fun.
definitely.
But yeah, I want to talk about that topic of time
Yeah.
and its passage, because I've been thinking about it, you know, because it's interesting. It always feels like, even with like the universe and stuff, you know, it always feels like there's some kind of like, what do they call it? Like something design, like
Like intelligent design.
yes, intelligent design. You know, and it feels that way too a lot of the times with like society and like the structures that have come into play and like dictate our entire existence now.
Okay.
And it's, you know, and it's just like, what it really is just some stuff happened, and then something responded to that happening, and it's just that, you know, it's like from the Big Bang. I think about this too, like from the Big Bang, even everything was predestined to happen the way that it's going to happen.
Yeah. I mean,
You know, I think about that kind of shit.
yeah, and it's a weird concept because in a lot of ways, you know, I even, you know, we talk about this a lot, how like so many things about the way that we live and the way society is set up, it's like I always say it's like so unnatural. Like what like this is not, you know, but at the end of the day, we're just animals who evolved into this, same as every other animal evolved into what they are, and this was the natural unfortunately this was the natural course of the process, I guess. And you know, I mean, so technically it's like just the same way that woodpeckers, you know, learn to at some point, like they evolved to drill holes in the trees to get their little larvae out of there and eat. We evolved to colonize the southern hemisphere and extract minerals and
Yeah.
resources at the expense of our fellow man and you know,
Yeah,
all
well, you think
people.
about it, like even back to like the beginning of like modern history, what even I guess is considered modern history, but I would say like think about monarchies like early developed civilization where we have like would you consider like pharaohs to be like head of a monarchy, or is that like a totally different?
Um, I don't know how. I don't know like the exact like subtleties of like a monarchy versus like they're almost more just like a what do they call it? Like a divine or a
Oh yeah, like a god king.
yeah, like you know.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
guess because it's like the one ruler, but they have
yeah,
like the thing where they believe that they were selected by God, I
yeah. But so
guess.
does
But
monarchies.
yeah, I guess you're right. So yeah, I guess it is.
It's similar enough.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, this idea that like there's a single ruler that like basically their power is like the land that they control. It's basically that's like where their power comes from,
Yeah.
right?
Uh,
I mean, is that a decent way of explaining it?
as opposed to what? What would be like their power is the land they
Well,
control as like what else would it be?
now power is like directly linked to capital
Yeah, yeah.
versus like capital comes into play much
Yeah.
later when like global trade starts happening and like capitalism kind of slowly takes over, and like the reason why monarchies are inevitably like deconstructed is because there's another system that is possible now, which is capitalism and like democracy
Yeah.
through like you know
Yeah, I guess you're right.
so it's like that. It's like at first it's like you know the kings or like the like smaller like townships, that I guess they're technically like what are they, barons, stuff like that, like
Oh,
the
okay.
lower
Yeah, like
tier like
dukes and,
rulers and stuff like
whatnot. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, and it's just like
Lords, I
yeah,
guess, right? Yeah.
yeah, lords, and it's like yeah, they control this land that like the guy above them controls them, kind of that whole thing.
Yeah, I guess what it would be, I mean, yeah, that's like basically feudalism, I guess, right?
Yeah, it's feudalism, and
But
that's what I'm getting at. Was like,
yeah.
but the main thing that I'm getting at is like, what is offered to the people is a lot less because there is a lot less generally. Like their main concern is getting food,
Right, right,
and shelter and safety from like barbarians
right,
or like people who are gonna like from other civilizations who are gonna like sack the town if they don't or
right. In that, basically what the ruler offers is like, yeah, protection from that. Like,
mm-hmm.
they'll call the bannermen and, have them defend, the
Yeah,
peasants who work the land and produce for the kingdom, I guess you could say. And
yeah,
yeah, that standing army is what keeps them in power, I guess. And by having more people living, not starving to death, I guess they, you know, depend on the king, I guess. I mean, obviously, it's debatable. It's not like they depend. Obviously, just in the way that it was, that is how it played out. It's like obviously anyone could have. You know what I mean? If people consider some random if there was like an uprising and then they said we are now the legitimate rulers of this land or whatever, it's like okay, well, I mean, if you have the strength of numbers and the support of the army, yeah, it is. It is because
yeah,
who's going to stop you,
yeah.
right? And I guess that's like the
And
whole thing with
but
like
there's
yeah, with like Alexander the Great and stuff. It's just like he just conquered stuff and it's like yeah, I rule this now. You can join me or die.
yeah, but like going back to like the fiefs, I guess
Yeah.
it's interesting because I feel like there's like such a direct link between like what you do like there's a very clear like trade happening there.
Yeah.
Like you're working the land that is protected by another person and feeding them so that you can live on the land and feed yourself.
Right.
And I mean whether or not that ruler should be entitled to like large amounts of wealth or not is whatever. That's besides the point a little bit.
Yeah,
But
sure.
like if that ruler is generally decent to the people who are working the land and his army, then like he's going to stay in power. But if he's not, then the army will just it's like it basically. I guess what I'm saying is it's such a smaller ecosystem.
Okay.
Generally speaking, even like a large kingdom back in the day is still like a generally small
Yeah.
ecosystem.
Right.
So it's like the people who are at fault for any like bad calls can be easily slain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of
Yeah.
kind of like
Sure.
is what I'm saying. It's like it's not as and which then like the markets form and global trade happens, and then that causes things to get way more convoluted, and which in turn leads us to where we're at now, where things are so convoluted that we have no idea who to blame at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah. I see what you mean. Yeah. Exactly. Okay. I see what you mean now. So correct me if I'm wrong. What you're basically saying is like, yeah, back then it was pretty much one person or family, I guess, but really one person pretty much ruling over
Mm.
a kingdom, which was basically the equivalent of like the size of a city, pretty much. You know what I mean, for
Mm-hmm.
the most part. And then it's like it all falls on that person. Like in Russia, even because they had that going on up
Yeah,
until the 1900s, right? Uh,
yeah,
and they yeah, it's like okay, you are to blame, and it was made known. You know what I mean? Like, and he was killed. And his
yeah,
and his family was killed. And then but yeah, you're right. If it once like in the situation that we're in now, it's like okay, like if something if bad things are happening in the world, it's like yeah, it's just too much. There's so many moving parts that it's hard to just point the finger and
yeah,
be like, this is it. Well, you're it. You know what I mean? You're the problem. It's
yeah.
like
Exactly.
you can point at like imperialism and the economic systems and stuff, but that's like once again they'll be like, oh, okay, who's to blame for that? I mean, that's pretty much the entire basis of American politics and probably most Western politics is like, oh no, I mean, we want to do the right thing, but they're
Yeah,
stopping us, and then the other side
yeah,
is saying the exact same thing. You know what I mean?
yeah. Well, see, that's the reason why it feels like we've. I mean, this is obviously just it just feels like this. I'm sure that I would be surprised in the future about how far we can go. But it
With
feels like we're already at this point where it's already so convoluted and everyone's kind of aware of it,
hmm
where it's bound to break down. Like
yeah,
it's because
yeah,
what I was gonna say before though too is like all of these like convoluted systems that have come into play have been responses to like other problems that have arisen,
no, you're
you
right.
know, and it's like it seemed like a good idea at the time. Like one of my favorite sayings really is like, the road to hell is paved with good intention. Like
Yeah,
it's just so funny and true. It's
yeah,
like people are just trying to like figure out the best way to do things while a little bit trying to like get a little bit more ahead than the other guys too, and it's just that over and over again until you are like there's a few people who have all the money.
yeah. And no, you're right. You're absolutely right. And it's like that's like we talk about nowadays. Everyone we talk about the free market and stuff like that, which is obviously goes hand in hand with capitalism. And it's like with things like that, with that specifically, it's like the where did that come from? It comes from back, like you said, back then it was like, oh, I am your ruler because I have the divine right. My family was chosen, and my lineage, my kin will take up the throne after me, and that's just the way it is, and that's how it will always be. And you pay fealty to me, and I will protect the land, and you need me. And then things changed, and it became like, oh, like it started with like the merchant class, having the ability to be like, hold on, we can generate wealth on our own and be more independent and be more free. And that's like where the whole like libertarian attitude comes from, well, old back then at least. And like
Yeah,
it's like because I guess at the time compared to what they were experiencing, that was like freedom. You know what I mean? Like you can go and you know sell your fish at the market, and you don't have to give, a bunch of your money to the king and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but then now
It's
here we
honestly,
are
I
where,
just thought of something interesting. Like, it's always like the like left leaning people who are deemed like idealistic,
hmm
right? Would you say? I feel like that seems to
that's,
be
yeah,
more the
that's a
case. Like,
common thing.
oh, like
Yeah.
you're like,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Yeah. You're
the
absolutely,
right
yeah.
leaning, the right leaning ideas too are same. They're idealistic too.
Of
Like
course.
they're like, the whole argument for free market capitalism is if it worked right, it would be
Yeah,
good.
exactly.
And it's like it's the same. It's they you see people write off like communism or communism specifically or socialism as like it doesn't work. But again, this isn't working either. So like maybe we
Right.
should come up with a better idea.
So yeah, that's one of the things that I say whenever, if I ever do talk to somebody about this in real life or whatever, who is, being like, oh, well, the typical thing, like, oh, communism, socialism has never worked. Oh, capitalism it's just the best system. It just is. It's like, okay, well, it's not, it's just, it's, we view capitalism as like, well, a lot of people view it as like the default, that it's just the default. This is the way it is. This is the only thing that works. That's how it's got to be. And, it just is what it is. And all the problems with it are just because other people are just not doing it right and creating those problems. Well, it's like, okay, well, how do you make that exception? Everything bad that happens right now, we live in a world where capitalism is by far the dominant system. Everything that happens is happening under capitalism. It's like, that's why I love, sorry, I won't get too sidetracked right now. But yet we look at like, we look at, that's kind of my point. It's just that it's a double standard, like where
Yeah.
anything bad that would happen under socialism in the past is viewed as like the whole system is just totally unrealistic and just insane. But somehow in capitalism, it's like, okay, well, what about the genocides? What about what about imperialism? What about slavery? What about apartheid? What about all this stuff? What about
Yeah.
overthrowing? What about arming fascist military groups in South America to overthrow democratically elected governments? Like, that's part of it
Yeah.
too. That's not just, no, but that's not really it. Real capitalism is just when everybody gets a lot of money and then has total freedom because they have all that money from their hard work. It's like, well, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't.
Yeah.
So instead, they'll just be like, oh, well, the only reason it doesn't is because of Democrats. It's like, they believe in it too. You know what I mean? You act like saying that is such a ignorant thing, in my opinion, because it's like, the differences are so minor, you know what I mean? Between like, left wing and, between Democrats and Republicans. Let's just call it what it is.
Yeah.
It's like, the differences are just like dumb social things. I mean, and they're only dumb if you're arguing on the wrong side. You know what I mean? If you're actually a person
Yeah.
who is a part of like a group that is like marginalized and stuff, it's like, yeah, it's very important. It's dumb if you're like, no, this matters to me. It's, back in the day it was gay marriage. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
how can you believe that was even talked about? You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
how can anybody who opposed that still have any legitimacy in any form of government? You know what I mean? How is that not just like the biggest
Well, the
sign of
wild
like,
thing
you
though,
are a moron, you have no place here, like,
I mean, the wild thing though is at the time though, it still felt like, yeah, I get why some people are hesitant about this.
well,
Now it seems even more crazy to have, you know, even mixed feelings about it.
yeah,
you
but
know,
yeah, and
but
that,
like but at the time, honestly, I remember in high school or whatever when that was going on. That was high school, right?
yeah, because
Obama.
even Obama was
So,
saying like, at first he was like, oh, well,
I don't know.
he was
I'm
kind
not
of
sure.
against, yeah, he was on the
Yeah.
fence, right?
Yeah.
Hillary Clinton was totally against it.
Yeah. Well, it's just like that's what I'm saying though too is like the traditional viewpoints. It's not. There's definitely value in tradition, but not every tradition is good still.
Of course, yeah.
So it's just that, and it's like let people kind of like I think, and this is obviously a very libertarian viewpoint, but just let people have their freedom. Let them just do the thing. It's fine.
Well, yeah, but No, exactly. When
You
it comes
know?
to like the social issues, it's like if you're trying to put a restriction on anybody, and it's so funny how, well, it's not funny, it's actually absolutely insane how it's always the people who claim to be like well, okay, a very principled right-wing libertarian, if you want to even, whatever they want to act like that means at this point. It's a very principled one, I guess. This hypothetical person, I'm sure that they exist. I'm sure they exist. It's just the ones that claim that they're libertarians who actually serve in Congress and stuff like that are such hypocrites. But, or, and, but if you're actually principled and stuff, and you are seriously sitting there saying that, well, okay, sorry, let me rephrase that. If you're principled, you wouldn't be saying this, I guess, even though your idea about economics is bad in my opinion. But as far as the social issues, how can you sit there and say, I think that the government has no role in our lives? Just no, it should not play a role. It should be there to have a military. That's it, pretty much. Just defend the land. That's it. Other than that, nothing. And then you turn around and be like, oh, well, I mean, come on. Abortion? That's murder. It's like, well, according to you, like, a
Oh,
6-year-old should be able to own a gun. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, maybe
the
that's a
that
little
double
more of the
standard
extreme,
is
but
insane. Yeah,
yeah,
I can't stand double standards. I can't stand like people who are like, I should be able to do this thing, but you shouldn't be able to do that thing. It's just
right,
like, why?
exactly.
Why? Why? Don't say that.
No, yeah, and just on like I mean, I realize I'm kind of talking about sort of specific stuff, right now. Like
Yeah.
I'm not trying to like I'm trying to. It's sounding like I'm talking about specific people, but I'm trying to just talk about the idea behind it. You know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
so all the people I'm talking about are kind of just like a hypothetical person who represents the ideology, I guess. So,
Yeah.
but if you do stand for that ideology, especially, like if you're I mean, I guess there's a difference. I mean, I guess if you're just a straight up conservative, what is that? What? So you think basically, you know, Jesus, Jesus's word should be the law of the land. I mean, I guess actually, but that's obviously the most hypocritical thing in the world because obviously, well, they make a good point because we all remember when Jesus said, homeless people are homeless because they're lazy and you can't give them money because they'll just spend it on drugs, and if you give them a house they'll probably just trash the place. That was Jesus's philosophy, right? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he
Well,
said
yeah,
that like
I think
sick
the
people
actual
only deserve medicine if they get a job and can afford to, if they get a real job, not just like a minimum wage job, because that's for high school kids. They need a real job and then they're allowed to get medicine, right? I'm pretty sure that's what he
yeah.
said.
That's what they said. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ came here and said, "You know what?"
Yeah, he was a founding father, I think. He was chilling with George
Yeah, yeah,
Washington.
yeah.
He was a slave owner, I think. Jesus
Possibly.
was just kidding.
Oh dear God, can you? I mean, it's insane. Just like, oh God. Well, I mean, the biggest like conservative idea to me is make that illegal.
Make what illegal? Oh,
Whatever it
yeah,
is.
whatever they don't like that day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
No,
Homelessness
exactly.
should probably just outlaw it. You
Yeah.
cannot live on the street, so that's fine. We don't have any homeless people in this country because they are all dead.
Exactly. Let's not
We've
make it
they're all
illegal.
dead or in jail.
Yeah, it would be unchristian. It would be downright ungodlike to say, "Oh, how do you end homelessness? Give homes to the people." No, what are you kidding me? Put them in jail.
Yeah,
like
Christ would come and say definitely jail.
yeah, he was a big jail guy. I'm pretty sure. I think he
Yeah,
donated to the police unions and stuff like that. He was lobbying.
yeah, definitely. Jesus is a jail advocate.
He is. He was part of the prison industrial complex. He owned a private prison, I
Mm-hmm.
think. He was an investor.
Yeah, he actually coined the term "all lives matter."
Unironically, he probably did, but
Yeah,
oh my god, that's so
for
funny.
like
Oh my god.
he did. He probably did.
He did. But he meant it differently, I
Nah,
think.
there were people before him that thought that.
Yeah, I guess so. Well,
Hey, that's
he said all lives matter, but The difference
But like,
is,
no, seriously.
yeah, but seriously, like he didn't say all lives matter and then put a Confederate flag on his bumper on the back
Yeah.
windshield. He didn't have all lives matter, Confederate flag, Punisher symbol with a blue
Line.
line thing, through
Dear God, yo, the fucking ugh,
it.
the marketing, man, the fucking marketing.
Yeah.
It
What?
literally like propaganda marketing is like, oh my God, I was gonna say this before too, and like when you're talking about capitalism, I was thinking like, and like all of this like demand that we're creating for stuff, it's artificial.
100%.
It's
Yeah.
like, so it's like, it's like people are out there buying shirts. They're buying the shirt with the thing on it.
They sure are. They sure as
They're
hell
spending
are.
their money that they worked for, and they're like, I need a shirt that tells people what I'm about.
Yeah. I actually
Everyone, and to be fair, everyone does that with their own shirts, but there's certain fucking propaganda shirts and
yeah.
stuff where you're like, you spent money on that.
Yeah,
Why?
exactly.
You.
I've been seeing a lot of flags lately
Mm,
just waving, be it from the back of a truck, be it from
yeah.
the front lawn of someone's home.
American?
Oh, well, I mean, you could say that because I guess there's nothing more American than the phrase "Let's go, Brandon" and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Oh, those are some good, great, 100%. What a good meme.
Yeah, yeah, right. It's like that's your
That poor man.
ideology. Yeah,
That poor man.
yeah. It's like your
Brandon
ideology.
just wanted to win the race, and now
Yeah,
he's a meme.
yeah. Let's go. Because I don't know. Because I don't like the guy. I mean, yeah. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, there's a million reasons to not like Joe Biden, and I don't like him. But it's like, I mean, I just don't know how you can not be so embarrassed to just be like, you're just have a flag large as hell, just
Yeah.
whipping in the wind on the back of that pickup, and it just says "Let's go, Brandon," and it's just like, what, like, it just comes down to that. Like, it's like that. It just seems weird that like, maybe this is reducing it too much, but I don't think it honestly is. It's like the biggest part of your worldview can be represented by spending $17.99 on Amazon and getting it shipped to your house and then unfolding the flag and putting it up on the thing, and you just bought that and
Yeah.
you're like, yep, that's what I believe in. That's it.
And but do you like the fact that there are grown adults, men and women,
Yep.
who say "Let's go, Brandon," and they giggle to themselves.
It makes me
They're like,
like,
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
It makes me
It's just like, what are we doing?
Yeah,
What are we doing?
it just makes me like sigh. I guess that's really it. It's just
Yeah.
like, ah, come on. It's like, yeah, I agree.
Silly.
Honestly, yeah, like it's he sucks, but it's like I it, I just don't like, okay, if you had a flag there, I guess that said like Joe Biden increased the military budget and Joe Biden, is still arming the Saudis as they committed genocide in Yemen, or Joe Biden refuses to give amnesty to people in jail for marijuana from like 1997, like, or to immigrants and stuff like that. If you okay, yeah, then all right, yeah, I agree. Like, let's talk about that. That's like, yeah, but not just like, like I said the thing. Like, you guys know what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
right? Like, I said it. They're mad now. That's my
Yeah.
politics. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and don't get me wrong. I understand that things symbolize things, and like, obviously, if someone was flying a Soviet flag or something like that, you understand it represents something. You know what I mean? But that's like an entire thing. You know what I mean? It like, you can understand, like, okay, I get what that represents. Trump has only been a political person for like a couple years, like, what is it, like 6 years now? 2016 to
Yeah.
3, yeah, like 6 years. Like, I mean, what is it? I just don't. I don't get it. Like, it's just. Well, but that's the whole thing. I mean, that is what it is. It's you watch Fox News, you see what they say, you say, yeah, yeah. Actually, you know what? I saw something last night actually, or I forget. It was within the past couple days, and not that I was watching this, but I saw this thing of. It's not like I was sitting there watching Fox News or anything like that, but like I saw this thing of Tucker Carlson, and he was just talking about like uh, Baltimore schools are failing, and the Democratic politicians are failing these this community and these children because they're passing students who actually have failing grades, and they are all this stuff. And
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, if you're just watching that and you're just ignorant and you just don't know, you're gonna see that and be like, "Whoa, that's messed up." Yeah, whoa, like that's not right. Like, yeah, that's why these cities are bad because they're keeping them uneducated and it's on purpose because the mayor's a Democrat and that's clearly what it is. I don't even know if the mayor of Baltimore is a Democrat, but I guess so, right? But like that was the implication that they were, and so
Yeah.
it's just like they're but like that's the thing. It's just like okay, inner city kids are doing bad, and what does that mean? Oh, you know what they mean when they say that type of shit, and it's like I at my high school they did that. At our high school they did that. They had a slogan. I don't want to say exactly what the slogan is because I don't
No
want to
student left.
something like that. It was something like no student left behind. Yeah. Actually, I think it was something like that. Yeah. And it
What? But
was
wasn't that? I thought that was like a countrywide slogan
was it?
for a
Okay, even
while.
better, even better. So, yeah, it's like
Yeah.
and I guess the idea was and I understand it's just a slogan, but they actually did it. I mean, I literally know people who failed the class and still graduated on time, you know?
Yeah.
I won't say their
Yeah.
names right now, but you know him too. He has red hair,
Okay. Gotcha.
you know? His name starts with a P.
Okay.
He is friends with Billy. Phil.
Okay.
he,
Yeah.
he
Gotcha. Gotcha.
I mean, I'm pretty sure he was in one of my classes and he had failing grades on every single test and he still got through it. I mean, I don't know. It's like, but we don't talk about that because it's not one of those neighborhoods, They're the ones who are
Yeah.
bad. It's just so obvious. But
Well,
if you
yeah.
don't
Of
want to
course it
see it
is.
and you don't take that extra step to be like, what's actually going on here? Like, what's the, like,
Well, it's just it's all it all comes down to framing. If
yeah,
you frame it in terms of like, yeah, some kids struggle and they have a more difficult time, you know, absorbing information, and they just, maybe they're a little slow, maybe whatever, they have dyslexia, and like we're just trying to we don't want to like have to go through a whole nother year of school, you know.
yeah.
We just they failed a couple of grades, but they were close enough and everything's okay. We tried our best. We're letting them out of school. Like school should not be like a jail sentence. What if you keep failing? What, you're just 35 and you're in fucking high school and just sitting there like they never let me out. I'm stuck here. I cannot progress the game if I don't pass this level.
Well, that's part of it. Well, you know what? Honestly,
So I don't know. I think not being able to leave high school because you failed is like,
yeah, it's crazy. How does that benefit you? Yeah, you're gonna do better because you instead of getting a 62 in in chemistry class, like high school chemistry, because we all know a 17-year-old needs to understand the periodic table to get through life, especially when after you graduate, they want you to just be like join the workforce. Just nowadays it's like, oh, don't
yeah,
even go to college. It's a Marxist indoctrination camp. You know what I mean? Like, so what is it? You
yeah.
want him to be educated or
Well,
not? Like, it just like, and
well,
as far as
they're educating them wrong.
yeah, exactly. No, well, I mean, but
Yeah.
they're making progress now. You're not allowed to teach about you're not allowed to teach about the Holocaust without showing the other point of view. You know what I mean? It's important. You got to be able to get both
Yeah.
sides. You hear about that stuff? Like,
No,
really? You haven't heard of? There's like protests
not
and
a.
stuff, and like, actually, I think I forget where it is. It's like one of the states that you can imagine are trying to be like, if they're going to teach about a point in history, they should have to teach the other side. And like I'm not an expert on like the discourse that's going on there, but I've seen interviews of people that were at like protests at the school, like the local school board meetings and stuff. And they're like, "Oh, so what? You think we should learn about the alternate history of the Holocaust?" And they're like, "Yeah." Like, and by alternate
Well, the
history, I
thing
mean
is,
the opposing viewpoint, which would be like,
well,
"Oh, the
here's the
Nazis
thing.
actually had a pretty good reason to do this." That would be what they mean, I guess, right?
Well, you can. I mean, I think you can say that the Nazi regime helped Germany.
Well, you do learn. I remembered that we did learn that though.
Yeah, I don't remember. Really remember exactly what I learned in school and what I learned outside of school. But
Yeah.
like, yeah, I mean, I don't think that there's anything wrong with like teaching the full scope
Yeah, if you want
of
to
the
say
history and
they
like
were
giving
decimated
like
after.
historical context for stuff. Like even like, and this is not by any means defending the way people have acted.
No, I
through
get you're
history.
just throwing things
But
out there.
like through certain lenses, like people didn't know better at certain times, and like that's not an excuse, but it's true.
Well, I mean, at certain times, you mean like hundreds or thousands of years ago and stuff, or not
talking
in
about-
1940,
yeah, I'm
in
talking-
1930,
I'm-
whatever.
I'm talking about like the early early
You know what?
colonization.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, they had to know. Well, you mean regular people, like regular guys who just, I work on the railroad, or
Well, think about this. Think about this, right? You're told, and whoever's telling you, whoever started saying this is wrong.
Yeah.
But after a certain point, you hear something so much that it just becomes true to you.
Yeah,
Like
that's
that,
obviously
like
definitely
that,
true.
like,
Yeah.
like that. Like this type of person is just not a real person.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I feel like if you, I think there's some value in trying to understand stuff like this completely
I do get it.
and be, and
I
and
just
be
think
like,
at
hey,
this point there's no excuse, but in the past,
no, and
it's
I
like,
think
yeah,
I think that like that's, but like if you give, I mean, if you give the full scope of like German World War II era history, you're gonna know that it was not right.
of course, yeah.
Like
No, I
you
get
just
what
look
you
at the
mean.
propaganda from the time, and you're like, okay, clearly they had an agenda.
Yeah, I get what you mean. It's like, okay, if you're in, and don't get me wrong, yeah, and we did kind of learn it this way from what I remember. It was like, okay, after World War One, they were like decimated. The country was in ruins. They were blamed for the entire
Yeah.
war. They were
Yeah.
crippled beyond belief. They had to pay back debt to everybody for reparations for the damages in the war, even if it wasn't directly caused by them. And some guy comes in and is like, I'm gonna make Germany great again, basically.
Basically, yeah.
And they're like, okay, do it. Yeah, okay, okay, all right. He's saying he's a big supporter of workers, and that work is, we're gonna get jobs for everyone, and yeah, we're gonna work hard and rebuild this place, and all this stuff. And then, all right, now he's doing some weird stuff. But I mean, when I say he's doing
here's
some
the
weird
thing,
stuff,
yeah.
that's where I can see. I wasn't there. I don't know the exact background of every bit of him coming into power, but Hitler, obviously, we're talking about here. So,
Yeah.
but with him coming into power, it's like, I guess, I mean, with what I know, what little I know, I guess I can understand if you think like, all right, yeah, I just want to see my country be rebuilt, and this guy's saying he's going to do it. But to sit
Yeah,
by
but not
and
only
just be
that-
like, all right, you know what? He's done some good things for the economy. So yeah, if he wants to commit a little bit of genocide, all right, I'm with that. I understand, but I know it
Yeah,
was
but that's
more,
not how
it progressed.
That's not how it is.
Yeah, it
it's more
progressed,
so
yeah.
like, hey, Germany's fucked up and it's their fault.
Yeah, but even then, I mean, I feel like
and
that's
then,
like,
but over time you weave it in, and then people are all of a sudden like, yeah, no, that makes sense. You
yeah,
know?
but I don't know, because I mean, even now, like people say America's messed up and it's because of people, immigrants from
Immigrants or
Mexico and
whatever.
stuff. Like
Of course,
how,
yeah.
but it's pretty easy to see that that's not true. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I'm sure that there were people in Germany who were like, this is fucked up,
Yeah, I guess.
and then other people who were whatever different. They were like,
I don't know. It
yeah,
just
no, this
seems-
makes sense, and it's better if it's better for us. It's good. I'm down.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Obviously, you're right, because that is what happened, right? I mean, you're right.
Yeah.
That did happen. But I'm just saying, it just seems like, how can that happen? But it's kind of like what we were talking about at the beginning. It's like, it seems like no, that can't happen. Like no one would think that, right? Like how can someone think that? But
Yeah.
it did happen. So like,
Yeah.
like I said earlier about, oh, it's unnatural the way that we live, but yet we naturally kind of, I guess, we human beings did this, and we're just animals who
Yeah, but
evolved. But so human beings
exactly.
did that too. So I guess they did it. I mean, I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When but even think about like, it's like there's a lot of types of people who, it's like eat the rich, that whole like mentality where like, yeah, a violent upbringing could rebalance the world for a minute, but like you would still have to massacre many people in order to achieve that goal, and it's like there are people who would be on board with that now.
Yeah, but there is a difference. I mean, that's like, it's not saying, it's not like saying,
Yeah,
Elon
but if
Musk
you
is a white guy from South Africa, so let's like exterminate white people from South Africa. You know what I mean?
No, no, I know, but the abstract of like what it means to be an elite, or towards the middle, it gets convoluted, and
Yeah,
like
I get
it's
what you
like,
mean, and I
yeah,
do.
okay.
I see how, the more we're talking about it, it's like, yeah,
I'm not
like
defending
here,
the Holocaust.
obviously, no, I know that. I'm just saying, it's like, with the thing is, if I'm saying I can understand saying this guy is going to rebuild the country up until the point where he's like, but then again, it was what how did they say it? It was like first he came after the communists, and then he came after the homosexuals, or right? Like it was like a progression. He
uh,
wasn't just like, let's do genocide against Jewish people, right? Like
yeah,
it like so I guess it did start with political opponents, right? Like and
yeah, and it was a mixture, and then but the same thing happened with the communists in Russia. They're who their bad guy was became more and more abstract as time went on, and then next thing you know, they're just killing party members who don't agree with them exactly. Is that not true?
that's true.
Okay.
The
So it's
freaking
like,
guy who basically won them the revolution, Trotsky, was basically killed by an assassin of Stalin's. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So yeah,
Okay, so it's like
as far as the
things
army,
things
he led the
things
army. You know what I mean?
trauma does shit to you, man. And like when you get to a certain place where you're like willing to do whatever it takes to get to this goal, this abstract goal that you have,
Mm-hmm.
you will do anything.
I guess so. I mean, I don't know. It's yeah, yeah. I mean,
That's
hey, I've never lived
yeah.
in a situation like that
Uh,
where
yeah.
my country was destroyed or was had to rebuild from the ground up, and you know what I mean. But
Mm-hmm.
I just would hope that. Well, I mean, I'm not exactly doing a one-to-one comparison, but I was about to say I would hope that if someone, well, I don't know, it's complicated.
But you even think about like in America, and like this is just regular people, seemingly. They might not be regular, but they seem regular to everybody. You know, COVID happens. How many like Chinese people in New York City got beat up?
I know,
And
but
like,
see, that's
when
kind
and
of
like, but
yeah,
like in 9/11 too, it's like
yeah,
every Arab, even a little bit
yep.
in America, was demonized for a
That's
while.
that's
And I
where
remember even as a little kid being like a little afraid of Arabs.
really, I mean, it was
Yeah.
talked about constantly. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. And it was like it gets into your head, and then you're like, fucks you up.
Right.
And
It's
then
hard
same
to
thing, it's
say
like it's
because
propaganda.
it's hard to
Fucked
say
up.
because a lot of this stuff happened when we were like kids, you know what I mean? When 9/11
Hmm.
happened, we were like 10, 11 years old or something, you know what I mean? And maybe even younger for you, right? You might have been like 9 years old or something. I don't even know. But
Yeah. I
like,
think I was in like fifth grade.
yeah, yeah, I was in sixth grade. And, yeah, it's just, so, I mean, that's different. But I'm just saying, I guess as adults, it's just, but then again, back then, I mean, they didn't have, I don't know. This feels kind of weird to like be like rationalizing like supporting Hitler or whatever, but that's not what it's not rationalizing. It's just
Well,
acknowledging
for the
it's
time. For
acknowledging
the time.
the fact that and the whole point of this and I think we're on the same page with this. I think this is pretty much the whole point that you were getting at when you brought it up is that the narrative that's being pushed forward by the people that are currently in control of it, the people in control of the narrative can frame things, as you said, that's what pretty much started, frame things in a way where it doesn't seem like what it actually is. It seems like this is
Yes.
actually a good thing. And that's pretty much what is done
Yes.
on a daily basis all the time, constantly. And and we at least have the internet where we can be like, hold on, what? Is that true? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas back then, it's like you see a propaganda poster and you're just like, oh, wow. And that's your media intake for the week. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. It's like
so,
in every newspaper,
yeah,
and
yeah,
like
right,
the
right.
radio talks about it, and
Yeah. And I mean, hey, like, don't get me wrong. Like, in, like, I don't know. Like, there was support to go to war after 9/11. There was support to even then go into,
huge
yeah,
support,
yeah,
huge support.
right. And
Even people who didn't support war generally probably were like, yeah, no, we probably should do something about
yeah.
this.
So people just get, oh, sorry. People just get like, people are just influenced easily. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
the
Well, think
free,
about this too. I feel like people are kind of always looking for the bad guy. Even, people who don't have a bad guy, and or like, they're not like specifically racist or whatever, but they're like, if you walk down the street, you're always kind of looking for the bad guy. I feel like it's kind of naturally human to you kind of be on edge.
to be on edge a little bit. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I don't know. I
I don't know.
guess,
I mean,
yeah.
I feel like there's a correlation between modernization and high anxiety outside of social media as well. I feel like safety, right? Like we're probably safer than we've ever been as human beings, generally speaking.
Yeah, I think so.
Like we don't have to worry about getting attacked by wild animals or
Right.
random people for the most part.
Yeah,
But then like the news tells you one story about someone getting stabbed in your city,
I see.
and
Yeah.
every single day you go outside, you're like, where's the guy that's gonna stab me?
I get that. Yeah, yeah.
So that's what kind of what I'm saying. Where like
No,
you're
yeah,
always like
yeah.
kind of on edge, not like just not like you're always looking for. I said you're always looking for the bad guy, but I don't mean like.
Yeah, it's just it's less about like looking out for it doesn't even have to be like a bad guy. It's like you could be like, oh, is
Yeah.
this car gonna hop the curb and hit me? Is this like, is
Yeah.
that
Well, yeah.
is
Exactly.
that
Exactly.
scaffolding gonna like fall down on my head? Is that ladder from the fire escape gonna like come down and hit me in the head like in Final Destination?
Yeah.
Like I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Exactly. And then we get all of this stuff stuck in our head from media, whether it's
Right, like I
movies
just
or
said, that
the
came from a
news.
movie, and it still
Yeah.
crosses my mind.
Exactly. So yeah, then we're walking around with all these like irrational fears,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah.
It's like the chances of like randomly getting stabbed on the street in a city really, really low.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? Actually, I
even in
even
a high crime city, it's like you specifically getting stabbed today, not that high.
yeah. Even when I was I remember, you know what? Okay, I just had a memory come back to me. When I was right after 9/11 happened, I remember I was sitting in middle school, in a non high, it wouldn't be like a anything to target. It's a middle school. My middle school was not in the freaking White House or anything, you know what I mean? And I genuinely thought, once again, I was a little kid, but like I thought
I
like
remember this anxiety
I
as
hope
well.
that like no one crashes a plane into my school. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
so I mean, like I said, I was a kid, but a lot of people don't ever really
Yeah, and then every time you
develop
fly
out of
too.
that. I guess I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah, and
right.
every
Yeah,
time you
I
fly,
was afraid to go
and
on airplanes for like 10 years after that.
I still think about it once in a while.
Yeah.
I fly very very rarely, and most of the time I'm not too worried about it. But every once in a while, I'm like, maybe today's the day.
I think about like, oh, I hope we don't like a bird doesn't hit the engine and make it crash. But I think I got that from Donnie Darko, to be honest. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
all
yeah.
influenced from other things. If you never heard about a plane crashing or a stabbing, it wouldn't even cross your mind. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
when we
But see,
hear
the
about
thing
it
is, too, it's
all
like,
the time and it's in the news every day, it's all anyone talks about.
yes, yes,
And we like
that's the thing.
glorify
And
it as entertainment. Like, oh, I love true crime. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. I like watching those documentaries sometimes, but like, it's just such a part of it. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
wild.
So, yeah.
And
Sorry.
we're just so affected by stuff, is what I'm saying. That
Yeah.
like
Right.
we
Okay.
we kind of we are capable of believing anything.
Yeah, yeah. I know we were on the we were in
Give
some
us a good
dicey
story.
we were in some dicey territory there for a minute. Not that I thought it that. It's just like it's hard to say these things and not give off the wrong impression. Like we're like
Out of context, yeah,
yeah,
some
out
of
of
that stuff can
context,
sound
I could see how it would
bad
sound like
taste.
it's like, but really the point is just like how people can be influenced to accept the most absurd things or just ridiculous, unrealistic things in terms of kind of what we're talking about right now, like like
Yeah,
no one's crashing an airplane into a middle school. No one is, uh, but and like so there's the like unrealistic kind of like absurd things, and then there's like the insane atrocious things, but in the same way people can be
yeah,
influenced to accept and believe like yeah that's probably true, yeah,
yeah,
maybe this is what's right. And
yeah,
if a couple million people need to die, then hey, I mean, I I heard that this is the case and this is the case. Don't you know they did this? Don't you know that? And they'll just get like basically brainwashed. I mean, straight up brainwashed. And unfortunately, that
yeah,
happens all the time now. And the fact that people in the northeast of America are like the reason for I have problems in my life because of immigration from the southern border of this country. How?
yeah.
How? You know what I mean? Like what? I understand like people can travel up there, but what do you think? There's hundreds of thousands of immigrants coming into your neighborhood, and what do they're you know what I mean? Like it's the South Park thing. They're taking our jobs. It's like
Yeah.
what are you talking about? Like and which one is it? Are they taking your jobs or are they doing crimes and making the neighborhoods unsafe? Which one is it? It's just and it's always that way. It's the same.
Yeah.
That's the attitude, and that's what they do, and it comes from. It's like the freaking playbook of the fascist type people. It's like anything is that we don't like is simultaneously the biggest threat, and they're an elite force, and they're also pathetic and weak, and we can crush them. Like it's like
Yeah.
people talk about like Antifa. They're a bunch of soy boy losers who just want to cry in the corner, and they're lazy and they don't do any work, and they're all like men who are feminine because apparently that's bad in their opinion, and but also they're these super soldiers who are going to destroy America. You know what I mean? Like, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I know exactly what you
And it's
mean.
the same with all of
And
that.
it's just like, it's like it's not us, it's them. They're the problem.
Of course, we're the
It's
ones in
obviously not
power and
us.
we are the
We're
ones
good.
responsible for making the decisions, but
Yeah.
no, 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 no.
They're all
It's
every
not the
form of
US
evil is
government.
them.
Yeah,
It's
it's
them.
not the US government, one of the most it's not the US government, the most powerful institution in world history. It's college kids with black genes. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's them. It's not the most once again the most powerful the most unequal one of the most unequal wealth distributions and people who control power control money have all the power and blah blah blah. It's not that. It's the guy who's trying to get a job as like a whatever, like just a guy who's trying to get a job and work and just receive income so that he can support his family. But he wasn't born here. Well, it's just crazy. It's just
Yeah.
totally crazy. I don't know. You
Well,
want to?
I
Sorry,
mean, this whole. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say you want to take a break in a minute. I just, but we
Yeah, no,
can
I do.
finish up whatever you want to say.
No, it's just crazy.
Yeah, it's so crazy.
It's just fucking crazy. As it literally like the systems that are in play that have people needing to emigrate anyway.
Oh, don't. Yeah. Okay.
So
Maybe. Yeah.
it's just
Maybe we could get into that in a minute
is it the
about.
people's fault really at
Yeah.
the end of the day?
Exactly.
Even if they are taking
Exactly.
your job, and it's like, what are they supposed to do?
And how is it your
No, no,
job, you
you get to go
dumbass?
back to your country and have a bad time.
Right.
Don't
What
come here.
makes that your job? They're taking your job. What are you talking about? What are they
Yeah.
they went into your office and said, "Hello, I'd like to apply for a job," and they said, "Hank, get the fuck out. We're hiring him instead." Like what? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
God damn. And that I've seen like memes and stuff too about like how like there's been like a labor shortage or whatever, and or it's like and it was just like no, like people don't want to do the jobs that immigrants were doing. So here,
Is that what they? Yeah. I
yeah,
mean, I think it's
something like that, and it's just like, yeah,
they basically. I mean, yeah, I love that too. The labor shortage. That's the greatest thing in the world because, okay, so it's simple economics, you dumbass. It's called supply and demand. Like it's the free market at work. Okay, well, guess what? The demand for workers is really high right now. You know what I mean? Like, and they understand that, okay, we're the ones who have the negotiating power here. You need us really badly. So pay me this. This is the price of this service that I'm willing to provide you. And they're just like, no, that's like, that's somehow not part of the equation. Well, it makes sense because it's since the, whatever, for the past like century of this country, they just like destroy, well, maybe not century, but like, the past several decades of this country, they just weaken the power of workers consistently to the point where it was almost non-existent for so long that they thought this is just the way it is. Well, guess what? It's not. Like like it doesn't matter.
yeah, like we've said a million times, and also like with however you feel about this, it's besides the point. But like the Canadian convoy right now of like the truckers who are anti mandate, but just think about the impact that something like that has.
In what way?
Like there are like grocery stores that are not getting food.
Oh,
and, like,
yeah.
they've literally like crippled the economy.
Right. That's just pathetic.
So think about that on a large scale. It's like you can affect change by simply saying that I'm not going to do the job if you're going to make me do something.
And
or not pay me enough, or
apparently in Canada, like 90% of truckers are vaccinated. So that's only 10% of them, and I'm sure not every single unvaccinated trucker is there. You know what I mean? So that's less than 10% of the truckers. Only one industry, less than 10% of them are there, and they're creating all this chaos. What does that mean? If 10% of the entire American workforce refused to do this and like got a little disobedient, like, come on.
Yeah.
As is, they had the John Deere strike, they had the Starbucks union thing, they had a Kellogg strike, and they all ended up being better off than they started. And that's just one company with not even every single person in the entire company participating. You know what I mean? Especially with Starbucks, it was like 3 stores. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so just
it's wild. It's like it's one thing if it's like a small business. I get, I think that there should still be like a decently high, a livable minimum wage, period.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But like, small business is small business, and maybe sometimes it's like, but that's the thing too. I've said this before. I think it's like that's the cost of doing business. If you need extra help, you need to pay them.
Of course.
So maybe there's no excuse at all for small business, but.
And if they want to support small business, small businesses can be a good thing, right? I mean, whatever. I mean, if in the world we live in, it's a good thing. Like in the sense where, like obviously, without being too idealistic, we live in a world where this is how it works right now. And if small businesses, obviously they're mostly a lot better than large corporations who are basically hiring like so many employees and then hiring hundreds of thousands or more employees or whatever. I don't know how many people are employed by like Walmart or Amazon or whatever, but whatever, just however many are. And they get paid so little and live in cities, like they have to be in the places where it's located, and then they get paid so little that they can't even afford to like really live, obviously. And then they're on food stamps and stuff. It's like Walmart is one of the top Walmart employees are some of the top recipients in the country of food stamps. So what are you doing, you free market libertarian? You are accepting the fact that these companies are paying their employees so little that your tax money is making up the difference because they can't live. So because Walmart is paying them so little, you have to pay them. That's what's happening. And people will
You
be
know
like,
how
nah, that's not true. What?
Walmart has 2.2 million associates.
Okay, I felt weird saying a million, but yeah, okay, that's even worse than I thought.
2.2 million people are employed by Walmart.
Yeah,
That's
and
insane.
they pay them so little that they have to be on food stamps a lot of the times. And that's just, and then they'll, I don't know, it's just madness. But yeah, like, so we're subsidizing Walmart, where the Walton family is like the richest family in America, pretty much, I think. Yeah, and like the, but so yeah, if it's gonna go down like that, then yeah, I would have no problem with all things considered, just the way it is, with whatever, the government subsidizing small businesses to be like, hey, listen, we understand you're starting a business. We'll give you a little bit of like a break, but you got to pay your employees enough that they can live in your city and have enough to live as far as
Yeah.
rent and food and stuff like that.
You think about this for a second. I'm sorry to interrupt, but
No,
like
that was it. Yeah.
it's just wild. Like think about like nobody opens up like a retail store.
Yeah, how can they?
Like a small business. Yeah, exactly. Like you can't open up anything that competes with Walmart, Amazon, Target
Exactly.
anymore. It's like the only stores that open up are like boutique, like
Yeah.
vintage stores,
Which are going to
like
be
very like specific
yeah, and
types
even
of
with
stores.
that, the target audience is basically like decently well off people who can afford to kind of like care about like the the style of it and whatever, you know what I
Which
mean?
is fucking wild,
Yeah.
it's wild. It's
Otherwise,
wild.
you like have to go to Amazon or Walmart and stuff. And then these same people who say that it's tyranny to make them pay taxes or to make them pay their employees enough to not be on government assistance, which is the most hypocritical thing in the fucking world. But like, if the same people who have a problem with that will turn around and say, these commies want to destroy the American way of life. They want to destroy our American lifestyle. It's like, really? Who's destroying the American way of life? Because I don't know if, like, when America was founded, if you want to sensationalize that and put it up on a pedestal, just ignore the slavery, just ignore the, all the other shit. It's like, if you want to act like that's the greatest thing that's ever happened, well, I'm pretty sure that they didn't have in mind when they started the country that every single place that okay, we have who's allowed to do business basically? It's going to be Starbucks, it's going to be Walmart, Target, Amazon, McDonald's, and Exxon and Mobil, and like Shell. We'll let them do it, but everybody else is screwed. Like no, we don't want any of that other stuff. Like, and these people will just be like that's your culture, that's your way of life that is at risk. Are you kidding me? Like, you live in a fantasy world if you think that this is the way of life that has any kind of traditional back, like, you know what I mean? There's nothing to it. It's just a fake little plastic, like, amusement theme park. You know what I mean? Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But it's not a theme park. That's a bad way to put it. It's like I don't even know what to call it. Like, yeah, I guess it is a theme park, but it's like not fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And
It's
it
like
goes
go
back
here, go here. This will make you happy if you go here. Oh wow, Target. When I think about buying clothing that was like made in a foreign sweatshop or something like that, I totally think of a happy little bull terrier going around, or whatever the
Yeah.
fucking dog is. You know what I mean?
Target
Like,
dog.
yeah, it's like that album
Well,
we were
it's
listening to
wild.
when they're
It's
like
wild.
there's no bad people. There's only disgruntled people, and Coca-Cola can solve that. There's something about the goodness of Coke that brings out the goodness in you. It's like that. It's like, and I remember it's people just eat that shit up. Yeah, they're like, yeah,
I
it is
know.
good. It is good. Yeah, it makes me happy. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Straight, and that goes back to what we were saying before too about this artificially created need
yeah. Yes.
to have
Exactly.
have stuff.
Right.
I need things.
Right.
Everybody suffers from this disease
Right.
of needing to have stuff.
Yeah. I need to get
Because
another pair of jeans. I really need another
Yeah.
pair of jeans. You know, like,
Yeah.
oh, that shirt's
I need that
cute. I
shirt.
really need the shirt. I love that shirt. I really want this shirt.
Yeah.
You never knew that that shirt existed until 2 seconds ago when you saw it,
Yeah.
when you were aimlessly walking around like, huh? Oh, I like that because it's right in front of me, so I like it. I'm gonna buy it for
Yeah.
$14.99, and now I'm gonna wear it and be like, oh, I love that shirt. Where'd you get it? Oh, Target. You know, it's like,
Or better yet, they're gonna buy the shirt, put it in their closet, and forget about it.
yeah, exactly.
Because they wear the same 5 items anyway most of the time.
Yeah, yeah.
Because they're the ones that they feel most comfortable in.
Right, exactly. But that's, you know,
Yeah.
they're really trying to explore who they are as a person. And in order to make that happen, you gotta buy a shirt you gotta go to Target and buy the shirt that says Dr. Pepper on it. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
cool because it has a vintage
They have
quality
had that
to
shirt
it.
for years. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got
That
it's
same
got like
shirt.
the intentional distressing on like the the
Yeah.
fabric a little bit.
Fun fact, that shirt is actually how they made their first million.
Yeah, yeah, I believe it. That was pretty much how that when they went public, they just showed a picture of that shirt, and then their stock
And they're
prices fucking
like,
soared.
oh my god, yeah. They're like, okay, we're coming. We'll be
Yeah.
there. Is it faded?
Yeah, exactly. The investors were just like, "Oh, this is magnificent! I cannot believe it." Yes, count me in.
Revolutionary.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what people want? Pre-faded items. Why? Why? It looks cool. Why?
Yeah, it gives
Why
the
does it look-
illusion of
I've had it for a while.
because there's no way to represent yourself and express yourself besides just, you know, it's like actually, you know, it's like in that, you know, this like a little bit cringe, you know, edgelord moment, but you know, in like in Fight Club when they're like, what does he say? He's like, what does this tablecloth say about me as a person? You know, it's like
Yeah.
it's that, and it's like it really does apply to a lot of this stuff. I understand clothing, like it's like I understand that there's something to it, and it can be like enjoyable to, you know.
Yeah, of course.
But I'm just saying, there's a difference
We're
between
a
that
hybrid,
and saying that the Target T-shirt, or I mean, I know we just keep bringing up Target, but just buying like the random stuff off Amazon is gonna make you be like, wow, I'm happy now. I'm happy because the package arrived. And sadly, that is pretty much. I feel like it's more about the
Yeah.
feeling of, oh, the package is here. Oh, the guy's outside. Oh, yeah, I got the package. Let me open it up. Oh, there it is. Oh, look at that. Wow, look at that. Oh my God, I got it. Oh man, I'm gonna wear this. And
It
then,
is-
like, you know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying though. Think about the amount of clothes that you've bought on a whim, and then you're like,
Yeah, well, I mean, I've done that in the past, but I haven't. I don't really buy that many clothes these days.
well,
But
that's the same. But
in my life, though, when we were into like skateboarding, which is a funny thing, it's like it's like, you know, it's kind of like a.
dude, yeah, capitalism.
We kind of talked about this, yeah. I think just when we were just talking to each other. I don't think we were like streaming or anything, but maybe we were. I don't know. But like with skateboarding, yeah, it's like the whole industry is built around like, you're cool. Wear my clothes so that other people think my clothes are cool, and then they'll buy my
Yeah.
clothes because you wore them. You know, it's like, and I ate that shit up. We all did, you know,
Yeah,
when we were
definitely,
teenagers,
definitely.
you know. So
Hardcore capitalists.
yeah. So
I
and
need that.
yeah,
You know who wore that shirt? Jamie Thomas. I'm gonna have it. But
exactly.
I need it. I gotta have it. Gotta have it.
Exactly.
It's wild. And I mean, like, you know, I get it, but it's just funny too. Like, I've thought about this many times, where like, just the idea of like a punk, a real punk with you know, punk politics,
Right.
starting a company.
Yeah.
It's just you know, it's like you can't in this world like escape the fact that you need to conform
Yeah.
if you want to succeed.
That's what I was. If you didn't make that point, I was pretty much going to. Yeah, it's like, because what's the alternative? I mean, I know it's like you can get criticized, and you can criticize their ideology. You know, maybe for being a hypocrite, but I don't even think it's necessarily fair. I mean, it sucks that it has to be that way. I agree, but what are they supposed to do? You know, if they want to make a company and be independent and to whatever extent that they can, I guess. You know, what are they supposed to do? It's either that or
No, I
what?
know.
Do not. Okay, you should. That's the criticism that people use against people who actually want to make a difference and change things. I'm not saying by starting a punk inspired clothing company you're making a difference in the world. That's not what I mean. What I mean is more like politicians who are, you know, whatever. I'll just use Bernie Sanders. Not that he's perfect in every single way, but like, it's people will be like, "Oh, if he really wants everyone to have a house, why doesn't he give away his house? Why doesn't he let people live in his summer house? Why doesn't he just like donate all his salary to charity? Why doesn't he, like, it's like, well, that's like a little kid argument. That's like something like someone who has never thought about this would say. You know what I mean? You have to still live. You know what I mean? I mean, that's insane. And the thing is, they have to know it's insane. But unfortunately, the argument for a lot of these people is less about actually making a good point and really getting to a point where they feel like, yeah, I have an idea of what I think should happen in this world, and more about I just want to dunk on somebody. I just want to make someone else feel like shit so that I can show that I know more than them, like,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's just what I mean by that. Yeah, sorry, I kind of derailed that. I don't know if you were going to say more about the punk
No.
guy
It's just like a funny little paradox of like your ideals not matching up with your actions.
Yeah, but I mean, what would you say? I mean, do you see where I'm coming from? Where it's like, what is he supposed to do?
Yeah, of course.
'Cause
I mean,
the
like,
alternative is be homeless or go get a job for somebody else. So I mean, in this fucked up system, that's
Yeah.
kind of the most, that's the most independent that you can be, But it's just weird.
Yeah.
Unless you're just
Yeah, I
like
know,
totally
I know.
living off like in like a mutual aid situation or something like that. I guess you could do that and just like squat somewhere. But that's like, it's just a
Yeah.
lot to take on, and there's so little security there, and so I'm not going to say like, oh yeah, you got to do that, like, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah, but also like I feel like there's part of it too where like true being like kind of like truly honest. This goes back to having both sides of it too. It's like you got to practice what you preach, kind of. I feel like that's my thing.
Okay.
It's like so it's one thing if I don't know. I just kind of feel like don't lean so hard into something that you're not willing to do.
Okay, all right, so you mean someone who's not exact. Okay, all right. I think
I might be talking about a person that doesn't exist. It's possible.
I tell me if I'm getting more at what you're saying. Like, what I'm saying is, what I think, the way I'm thinking about it is, when you say a punk guy or whatever, it's kind of a weird thing to say, but like, I know what you
Yeah.
mean. Just like the person who really embraces the whole like scene of that and the politics that are
But even
generally
take it one step
associated.
further. Take it one step further, which will be super easy to understand. Any major corporation who supports a political ideal that actively goes against what they're doing.
Oh, wait, like a corporation being like, we
Well,
support.
I've made it very more obvious. I've
Okay.
tried to make it more obvious what I'm trying to say, which is just like when people use political ideas as like a badge of honor, and then they don't honor it, and it's
Well, with the
you know what I'm
corporation, it's literally just marketing, like straight up just advertising and PR.
Yeah, but people are marketing themselves all the time as well.
Yeah, but
Regular people.
what I mean is like, so here's the thing. When you
Like,
say
so, no, go ahead. Sorry.
when you say like a punk guy like that, I'm kind of just
Yeah.
picturing somebody who like, is like kind of like a, believes in like kind of more like a self-govern, like, like an anarchy situation with like, sort of like a, like on this, like on a left-leaning person who like, wants like more of a free society that's not like hierarchy based. You know what I mean?
I'm
But
talking about somebody who's extremely anti-capitalist.
yeah, okay, so basically, yeah. But I mean, what in the society that we do live in, what are they supposed to do? You could like, you could believe that and want to change the way things are to get to that point. But while we live under that, what are you supposed to do? Or how are you going to change anything if all you do is just be like, no, fuck capitalism. I'm just going to live like under a bridge and just like, you know what I mean? What do you do? What's the point you're making there? It's like personally satisfying, I guess, because you could look in the mirror and say, I stick to my beliefs, but like, what are you doing?
I mean, it's a good point.
Like,
well, I'm not saying that I have like a solution to it necessarily, as much as I feel like it just doesn't feel honest to me, I guess.
I get that.
I don't know. Like
I-
I've kind of just like kind of backed myself into a corner a little
No,
bit.
no. It's fine. I mean, we're just talking about it. It's like I don't have
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
totally defined opinion on it either. I'm kind of just that's just something where, yeah, like because it's and I'm not even saying I'm necessarily 100% right. I mean, there are definitely people who would go and be like, yeah, if you really believe it, then yeah, you should do that. You should like, there are people who are like, if you really believe that, you shouldn't even like participate in society. You should like be working actively to destroy it. You know what I mean? And not just destroy society, but destroy the hierarchy systems that we have now. And the,
Yeah.
you know, but
Yeah, but you could do stuff like social working and stuff like that.
yeah, you could, yeah, okay. But even
Like,
still,
you know what
you're
I mean?
like,
Like, there's like places for people to earn a living that are actively working against.
right. But even then, okay, in order to do that, you're basically working for the government, and you have to like dress the way that they tell you and look the way they tell you, and you can only say things that they say you can. You can't have like an online presence in any way really, because like they have to do background checks, and like you're pretty much like beholden to the government. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's like a lose-lose, and I think it's like that on purpose, honestly. Like, well, I mean, it
Yeah.
clearly, because that ideology is the complete opposite of what is in power, so
Yeah.
if
Well, I
you're
guess it kind of goes in line with like uh like if everybody stuck to their guns,
oh,
then
okay.
like things would change more. Like
Okay, okay, okay.
it's that's kind of like more what I'm kind of saying. It's
Yeah,
like if you
okay.
believe something, act like you believe it. If everybody did that, then things would change in the favor of what people wanted. That's
That
more so what I'm saying than like
an
no, like
individual
if you
person, like, just like,
yeah.
yeah, okay, okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Yeah, say
It's
what you
like
were saying.
or like at least continue to try, or like could you but think you even think about like you know artists that get popular and then they have like they have liberal points of view, or they have like unpaid interns, or like you have
Right,
like
but
you
blatantly hypocritical. Yeah, I agree with that.
yeah, but I don't know, there's just like I guess there's like there would need to be more context for this argument to be strong in any way. I'm giving a
Pretty
very weak
much.
argument about
No,
this right
well,
now,
I
but
mean, like I said, we're just talking. It's not like I don't think it's not really, yeah. Okay, well, the thing is this. As far as groups of people, yeah, I couldn't agree more. Like if people, it's just hard because it's like it's got to get
yeah,
like
but
some
where do groups
momentum. Yeah,
start?
like who's
Yeah.
gonna start it? You know what I mean? I don't know. And
Yeah. Well,
it's
the thing is, I kind of look at like making money as like let's say for example we made money doing this, right?
yeah,
To me, that would feel like the money that's coming in would be making this thing better. It would
yeah,
feel like it's like almost like a political party. But like outside, you know what I mean? Like if you're like gathering kind of power
yeah. But unfortunately,
abstractly.
yeah. But even anytime that money comes into play, though, it becomes like where do you get the money? Sponsorships, donations, selling merchandise. Then you're creating a capitalist system. It's becoming a company.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
it's hard. I mean, it's just I think it really is like living underneath it. I mean, I know there are people who disagree with me on this, but it's just I think that if we have to live under it, then just you can't just be like I'm gonna. It's one thing to like kind of whatever I'll say sacrifice yourself for an ideology, but when no one's even gonna know you ever existed or that you ever did that, and it's not gonna change anyone's mind or anyone's opinion, or they'll never even know that it happened. They'll never even start to think about it. It's like, you know what I mean? Like to them, you're not someone who's rejecting capitalism and really staying true to their belief system. They're just gonna be like, you're a homeless guy. I don't care about you. To unfortunately for most people
Yeah.
would think that, like, but but no, don't get me wrong. I like on like on another level, it is. I mean, I do see the irony of it to be like let's bring down capitalism and show that there's a better future. By the way, buy my merch, subscribe, donate to my
Yeah.
Patreon. I totally see how that's like, it's so weird, but it's like, I mean, sadly, what are you going to do? The alternative is go out there and get a job and work at one of these companies that you're criticizing, I guess,
Yeah, yeah.
It's weird. It's like, that's why there's a feeling of just like hopelessness at some point, I mean, I don't think it is hopeless, but it's just,
Yeah, no, I know, and I feel like that's part of it too. Is that like these things always seem so big, but when you kind of boil it down, it's not that it's small things that affect large change over time.
As far as what?
I mean, think about it just in the past like 2 years of like how much things have like come into like mass consciousness of like,
Yeah.
God. I mean, people have been hesitant about vaccines for so long, and it was like a meme that they were like anti-vaxxers.
Yeah.
Now it's like almost normal.
Yeah, I remember the first time that I heard about like anti-vaxxers in my life. It was way before COVID, and it was the people saying that like vaccines make you autistic and stuff. And I was like, this has to be like a troll group. You know what I mean? Like this has to be like a joke. They can't be serious. Like, and I was like, oh well, it's probably just like a couple hundred crazy people. Now it's like a big chunk of the country and thinks that like, and it's like a mainstream thing that is on the news every single day for a couple years now. Like yeah.
And it's just the way that with the internet and like the way that media is now, it's just so toxic, and like every bad idea just gets so loud so quickly.
Yeah.
And mostly no good ideas are even there's no good ideas being brought to the forefront.
You know what?
It's only bad ideas, or like this is let's just talk about how terrible all of this thinking is.
Yeah.
It's not like let's talk about the positive qualities of the way these people are thinking.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah.
That doesn't sell.
No, of course, exactly. It's like when you come out
moving away even from anti-vax, it's with everything. It's like there's bad guys everywhere, and you got to be careful. There's bad guys everywhere. You need to be careful because they're coming for you and your children.
Right. Even oh my God, even when they try to do a feel-good story, it's like I see this thing online sometimes. It gets reposted on Reddit sometimes. It's like something like a 5th grade girl sold candy at school and raised $300 to pay off the lunch debt of her classmates. It's like, why are 10-year-olds in debt by the school? You know what I mean? Like, we live in the greatest nation in the world, and you're indebting, you know what I mean? You're putting little kids in debt because they want to eat food at a school that they're forced to be at. You know what I mean? Like, and let's praise the hard work of this other student. I mean, don't get me wrong, great for that person who did that, but like they should never have to do that. Why does a little 9-year-old have to do that? Why is it not the people who really know what the serious people of the world, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who are willing to throw around trillions of dollars left and right like it's nothing. But
remember when
you're in debt.
Remember when the phrase like the adults in the room like caught on politically as for the left?
Oh, did they say that?
I remember that.
They were saying we're the adults in the room?
It was the Hillary Clinton's campaign thing.
Okay.
I remember
when you say the left,
being
I don't. Yeah,
I don't mean the left.
Yeah.
The Democratic Party.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah.
The fucking left. Yeah.
No. I said the same thing earlier, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, there are no adults in the room. There are no adults on the planet.
Pretty much, it's just a bunch of idiotic kids who thought that their school was going to get blown up by in a hijacking by and then they just years went by and they're just still doing stuff trying to figure it out. I don't know, failing.
Yeah. You want to take a quick break? I gotta go to that.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Be right back, everybody. And we're back.
Could you imagine if Bernie was president when we experienced the beginning of the COVID pandemic?
I can imagine, I think, and I wanna think about it. And obviously, I don't think it would have magically fixed everything, but I think I we would be talking about this whole thing very differently. We'd be all living a little bit differently. Yeah.
It's interesting. I mean, we were just talking about it a little bit during the break, and little things, man. It's kind of interesting to really imagine like what it would be like if Bernie won in 2016.
Yeah. I
Like,
mean,
how much
yeah.
could he have actually have done?
That's the one thing. Yeah, I don't know. Um, it would obviously depend on the people who get elected to the Senate and the House and stuff. But I mean, I'm not saying he would bring about, even just in with his just straightforward, open, uh, like embracing of like Scandinavian type social democratic government type stuff. Like, obviously, that's not, it's not the perfect solution or anything, but even if we could just get a little bit of that, you know what I mean? I'm not saying we'd have Medicare for all right now for sure or anything like that, but I don't think that the country would be like, I don't think the country would be like as divided as it is now, which is I feel like people like, maybe it would. I don't know, because maybe they would just go
What?
100 times harder than they do on Joe Biden but I don't know. I think people would see the positive results in their real lives and say, yeah, you know what? I'm a guy who works for a living and I now have a better situation. I have more protection. I have more stuff to fall back on. I'm not as stressed out about these things, instead of just saying, you know, uh, instead of living in a world where like everybody's life has basically gotten worse unless you're rich, basically.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I wonder because I was thinking like the whole like push of like the anti-vax and like just this whole thing. It's like, where did that come from? Where did like globalized vaccine hesitancy come from?
Propaganda?
Yeah, uh,
Facebook?
yeah, I guess. But I don't know. I felt like it like it's just interesting. I mean, think of like the idea, the fact that like whatever the thing recently, like Trump was like saying get vaccinated,
Yeah,
and
and he
everyone
got
was
booed and
really
stuff. Even his
furious about it.
supporters. Yeah.
Yeah, but like I don't know.
I think
It feels
I
strange.
do think there would be less of that. I mean, because but it's just it's intentional that, obviously, I mean, he should have had the nomination in 2016 basically, and they said, "No. No. We're not doing it. We're giving it to
Yeah,
Hillary Clinton because we're the ones in power." But that's democracy, by the way. We all know that.
yeah, yeah,
Disregard the will of the people and just take the power. It just
yeah. The party has the power.
exactly. And then I don't know, because they would have went so hard on bashing him and stuff. Because even people, we saw it in the most recent one, the 2020 election. It's like even the and back then too, they were. I remember back in like the leading up to the 2016 election, I think it was, or was it this most recent one? I think it was the 2016 election where they showed like Bernie was giving a speech actively, and so it must have been, yeah, it must have been this most recent one, right? Where Bernie was giving a speech after, I think, a victory in one of the early caucuses of the primaries, and rather than showing his speech, I forget which network it was. I should have. I don't. I'm just kind of. I didn't research any of this before. I didn't know we were going to talk about this, obviously, and I never do
Yeah.
any research before we do this, obviously.
Yeah.
But like, they showed they had a thing up for like his entire speech that was like, it was an empty podium with a microphone with no one standing behind it, and it's like, Trump to address whatever soon. Like, it was like Trump will be giving a speech soon, basically, while Bernie was actually gaining momentum and was like pretty much, you know,
Yeah.
like, and having like big newsworthy stuff happening. And instead of showing that, they just were like, wait, just keep your eyes on us. We're gonna show Trump talk soon, right? He's gonna probably say some really important stuff about how this guy's sleepy and this guy's lazy and this guy's low energy or something. You know, like, oh, because that's
Yeah.
what we really want, right?
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know.
God.
Because as Tucker, or well, I don't even know who says this, but as Fox News people were saying, Bolshevik Bernie wants to come on there and,
Ah.
you know, and talk about how these awful things like, we're going to make sure that hearing aids and dental are covered in healthcare. Like, wow, what a
Yeah.
communist. What a piece of shit. Wow.
Yeah.
Like, we can't let that guy in there. That's awful.
God.
He wants to destroy this country.
Yeah. Maybe fairly tax the rich.
Whoa, let's not go crazy here. They're there for a
insane.
reason. It's kind of like what we were talking about in the beginning. It's like we almost, it's like they can't say it. It's like people, yeah, the random people who fall for the propaganda and stuff like that, and you know, join the cult, basically, they'll I'm losing my train of thought. They'll like. I lost my train of thought. Basically, I'm
Yeah.
trying to say like they'll believe all that stuff, and that's ridiculous. Oh, but the people that are actually controlling the situation, and by the people controlling the situation, I just mean like the party leaders and the the DNC and the Republicans and whatever. They will. I don't remember exactly the point I was making, but basically they're aware of what they're doing, and the people eating it up are not even aware that they're working against their own best interests, pretty much. I felt like I had a better point there, but I kind of lost it.
I mean, it's not always the fucking case, man. It's wild.
Yeah.
The amount of people who are actively fighting against themselves.
Yeah.
Too many. Too many to count.
It's so bad.
All of us sometimes.
Yeah. In a way, I'm sure we all do it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
God.
It's just exhausting. I don't know. And it makes me sad, but we were also talking about this for a sec.
We just blackpilled ourselves.
Yeah, we were also talking about this for a sec. It's like this stuff is not like
got depressed.
Yeah, right? Like genuinely, it just kind of like just took the wind out of my sails a little bit to actually
like,
think
fuck,
about
yeah.
how messed up it is, man.
It really makes you feel helpless.
Right, because I'm saying for a second there I was talking about all this stuff like, yeah, we would be in a different place right now, I think, with Bernie there, from the start. But I don't know. They would just say he wants to destroy America, he wants to turn it into Cuba. He went to Russia for his honeymoon, so therefore he's actually a spy and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
that's how it is. Don't listen to the words he says.
Yeah.
It's like it's funny. It's like when Trump they actually, yeah, I love that. That's pretty much their attitude is don't believe the words that person is actually saying. And when it's Trump, it's don't believe the words he's saying. He's not actually racist. He's not actually like misogynistic. He's not actually working for the benefit of corporations and powerful people. He's actually working for the working class, even though every single thing he does is antithetical to their interests. But they'll also say, don't listen to Bernie. He doesn't actually want to make this country better. He wants to destroy the country. And everybody knows that, yeah, framing, exactly. It's by That's what how are you going to pay for it, Bernie? And no matter how many times he talks about it, it's always something else. It's just, well, how much money? Well, what would be the tax rate? Oh, well, what would be? Well, why don't you use the money that you got from selling your book to fund this? It's like oh my God, like
Dude,
just
did you see? Speaking about book, did you see that fucking Cuomo got in trouble? I don't know how that. It probably resolved by now. I don't even know. But like, he was like, yeah, he was getting in trouble for writing that book about leading.
yeah. He basically was writing a
God.
book about how he saved New York from COVID while he killed like thousands of people in nursing homes during COVID, based on
Yeah.
completely like directly as a result of his decisions.
What if
And yeah,
ego, man? What
while
an
that's happening,
ego!
oh my,
While like
it's
literally the book came out
disgusting.
while COVID wasn't even done yet. He's like,
Not even
I fixed
close.
it.
Yeah,
I'm a great leader.
look at how I fixed
Here's
it.
my autobiography. I'm a great leader.
Yeah, I said so, so it must be true. You know
Yeah.
that. We all know this. And yeah, I can't believe they actually like took action against it. Like, oh my God.
Good. Yeah, fuck him, man. I
Yeah, I'm
never
so
liked
glad. Yeah,
Andrew Cuomo.
yeah. The fact that he renamed the
He was the
Tappan Zee
governor of New
Bridge.
York for a minute.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, fuck that.
I mean, that
What a
doesn't matter.
loser.
I'm kidding about that, but there's obviously worse things, but yeah.
Yeah,
No, yeah, what a loser is right though.
yeah.
It's pathetic. Do you remember like oh my God, it's like disgusting. Do you remember like the way that people were like hyping him up as this like hero when he was like giving those press conferences every day during like
Yeah.
while New York was being ravaged by COVID?
This is
and
what
he's
I'm
like,
saying. It's
yeah,
like the framing, man. It's all media bullshit. It's all like Governor Cuomo. Governor Cuomo is doing excellent
yeah.
work today.
People were
And
saying he
everyone's
should
like,
run
I
for
think
president.
he seems to be doing good. Like,
Yeah.
I like him.
And the thing is, he was the one up there saying it. He's like, we're taking steps to make this happen, and blah blah blah. We're really seeing that this is what we gotta do. We gotta end COVID. We just gotta take steps. We gotta do this, and without really saying anything. And then
Yeah,
people are like, yeah, we do have to do that. Yeah, you're right. Like it's just so sad. I don't know.
I know. Sadly, people are pathetic, man.
Ugh. I mean,
And like I've said before, we're just looking for someone to tell us what we're supposed to be doing.
yeah. I don't
All the
want to
time.
believe that people are just pathetic, but it's hard, man.
I mean, we're getting our brains are getting soft, man.
Yeah.
All this like I said multiple times in this single podcast, the artificial fucking like need for stuff
Yeah.
is
Oh,
making
yeah.
us just feel like the meaning of life is acquiring goods.
Yeah.
The meaning of life is acquiring goods. I need goods. I'm
gotta
gonna need
have
all
more
the goods I
stuff.
have to have.
I gotta have
How do
my
I get it?
stuff, you know?
Yeah, like I need it better. I need it to be better. It should be better than this.
Yeah.
It's not good enough. I need it. I need more of it. I need
Yeah.
more and better. Better and more of it.
Yeah. It's gonna be. Oh, I can't wait till they come out with the new thing that I'm gonna buy, and I really need it. Even though, like, that's what I keep saying. It's like, even though I didn't know about this until like today, now I need it because now I know about it, so I need it now. And I always needed it. I just didn't know it. But like, how was I so stupid? I didn't even know how much I needed this. Wow, we're really evolving as a species and as a society, man. Look at what we're doing. We're doing great things. I can now.
Yeah.
Oh my God, now there's 2 front-facing cameras on my iPhone. Oh my God, and they told me it's good, and they told me I need it. So I now realize, like, they know best. So, duh, of course, I'm such a dummy. Of course I need 2 front-facing cameras, so I'll
Yeah.
spend $1,000 on the iPhone.
And I also need an app to relax after I'm done looking at social media for hours on end to get to sleep. And I also need an app to
Yeah. I was
like
thinking
tell
about
me what time to go to bed because I don't know what time to go to bed.
I don't remember if I specifically said this last time we were talking, but
I'll subscribe to that.
I was thinking about this today and pretty pretty often recently. And that podcast from back in the day, Dig Nation.
Yeah.
I remember when the iPhone came out, they were like, so what do you think? Like, I got the iPhone, yeah. And Kevin Rose is like, yeah, it's like, or well, both of them were like, they're pretty much their thing was like, you know what it is? It's a great like pooping device. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like, I go into the bathroom, you're sitting there, you just take it out, you start scrolling through, you check your emails. Like, it's really nice. Like, it's pretty cool. I got to admit, I spend a little more time on doing that now that I got this, it's pretty nice to be able to do that. Now it's like, we live in a world where it hasn't been that long. When was that? When did the iPhone come out? Like 2005, 6, something like that.
Yeah.
And maybe that was even before Dignation. I don't remember, but it was them talking about it. I don't remember what it was, but they it was definitely them talking about it though. And now,
Well, I think the iPhone came out after high school.
was it? Okay, I don't remember exactly, but yeah, it's like yeah, you might be right. But the point is, when it first came out, they were talking about it like, yeah, it's really nice, little bathroom device, chill, kind of like check some stuff, scroll through some stuff, browse the internet for a minute. And then now it's like, it's just completely normal to open your eyes and say, without even getting out of bed, you grab your phone, open up, check your notifications, go on Instagram. Oh, what's on Reddit? Okay, all right. Anything on YouTube? Okay, all right. I should get up. Okay, get up. Probably, what are you going to do? I mean, you probably put on a podcast while you make coffee or something like that, make breakfast if you do, like you're pretty much engaged with this stuff almost all day, every day. And especially, if you're going to work, you sit on the train or, you go in your car, you put on a podcast or you load up Spotify or whatever, and you listen to something while you're on your commute. Then you get there, and most people work with a computer involved. You get bored, you go on the internet. Like, it was so not like that just not that long ago. I mean, I'm kind of sounding like a boomer right now because I guess to a lot of people that is a long ass time ago. They don't even remember it. They weren't even born, some people, I guess. But, it's just, it happened so quickly, and it's like, if you don't take a moment to have that realization of like, oh shit, I like depend on these apps and these, basically like what you were saying, like I depend on these apps for like pretty much every aspect of my life mostly. You won't even realize how not normal that is. I mean, it's normal now, but that's only relative to the other people that are also addicted and pretty much like dependent on, these things. And it's just unbelievable. Like, it's just unbelievable that we live like that. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's like pushed down our throats in so many different ways. It's like the scary thing. Like saying like the app thing before too, like that, like we have meditation apps now. It's like God, it's like, and that's what I'm saying. Like the solution to the problem just creates more problems, and then it's just more and more and more piled on. It's like, I get why people say like, yeah, we have to like deconstruct the entire system before we can rebuild.
Yep.
I get that, but I wish that there, it feels like there's a way around it, but I don't know.
I mean, I think that the technology that we've developed is beneficial overall. Oh, how did that happen? I think that the technology we've developed is beneficial overall, but it's obviously not being
beneficial
used.
For what?
I don't mean, meditation apps or, a, Instagram or something. I don't mean that that's beneficial. I mean, like,
yeah, but like what truly? Because I was thinking about this actually way earlier in the podcast and I didn't say it, but like, what? Like, really, has any of this technology given us besides just more things to look at?
Well, I mean, yeah, as like an individual consumer, I agree. It's pretty much awful.
As a civilization,
Right. Well,
a human civilization,
I mean,
like it's just made everything more complicated.
email can be good, right? I mean, if you want to
Yeah,
use
I mean, the
email, I
internet
guess.
having knowledge at your fingertips
Yeah.
is decent, but
Yeah. Yeah, like email, I mean, yeah, like you said, like educational stuff. I mean, the ability, like, for I don't know, like like research, I guess. I don't know, being able to correspond with people more easily. I don't mean research
Yeah.
like scrolling through Facebook to learn about QAnon and shit, but obviously,
Yeah.
but a
No,
lot of
I
people
know.
love to call that
All
research, but
the thing is, it's like it's okay. So it's like the internet gives you the ability to access knowledge, but what if you get confused and you're not sure like if this is knowledge or if it's just more random bullshit, and then you're just
yeah, no,
it's
I
I don't
agree.
know. I don't know. I kind of feel like I my conservative viewpoint is that simplicity is kind of better, generally speaking. Smaller communities are always going to be better and more fulfilling.
Yeah,
Like, important information is important information. And, it should be treated as important. Everything should not be treated as important.
yeah,
It's like we are getting confused about like what it means to like exist
yeah,
in a world.
exactly, yeah,
We're very confused about what that means, and like we're making it more and more abstract and more about like attention on us because we don't have attention on us anymore because everyone's looking at their phones at all times and we can't be bothered to like talk to our friend face to face and be like, hey man, how's it going, how are you feeling?
right. Imagine getting
you know
anxiety,
he would have posted about it if it mattered.
right? Imagine getting anxiety about like not responding, not texting your friends enough, or like not responding to a group chat enough, or not do it. I mean, I don't get this anymore, but like I remember when I was a bit younger, I used to sometimes honestly feel like, man, like I haven't like posted on Instagram in a long time. Like I'm kind of like, like I'm kind of getting like out of touch with like the people I know, or like the people that are like kind of in my circle a little bit. It's like, what is that? What is that?
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. What are they doing?
Yeah, yeah, and then yeah, like there's yeah, but
Call
if
them. I mean, it's yeah. It's like I think we might have probably talked about this a little bit before,
we
but like
we
we have
did
like
I
this.
think talk about it last time a little bit, but in a different way slightly.
Yeah, we just have like this like illusion of togetherness, but we're actually way more disconnected.
Yep. I mean, and it's like one of the best things, not best. I mean, they did a good job at screwing us over, basically. They did the
Mm-hmm.
best job at screwing us over in the sense where, like, I remember when I was younger, even, once, like, online games became super popular and, like, everybody had the ability to just, like, talk over the internet all the time and, like, things like that. It was like, I remember people being like, and myself, I agreed with it. Like, oh, it's nice. Like, if I don't feel like going out or doing anything with my friends, like I can just like go on Xbox and play Halo with them or something like that.
Yeah.
And it felt like, oh wow, we're lucky to have this. But then it's like I have friends that I've known for many years who live like 30 minutes away from me, and I don't, well, COVID exists now and whatever, but even if it didn't, I'm telling you, it's like rather than seeing them a couple times a week or at least once a week or at least a few times a month, it's like I'll see them, once every couple months. You know what I mean? But it
Yeah.
still feels like sometimes it feels like, oh, I still talk to them a lot though.
Yeah, I like
But
their photos.
it's different. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah. You know.
Ugh, yeah.
God. But yeah, I mean, I feel like for all like the intended good that this connectiveness has given us, it's like it kind of like net zero.
Yeah.
Like we're
Yeah, it's pretty much a negative in terms of that. Earlier when I said
yeah.
that, a few minutes ago when I said that the technology actually, I think it's overall good. It's more just like I guess what I really mean is just like the internet existing and like having like online access to things online. But unfortunately, the main thing that we use it for is just to keep you staring at the screen and like look at the next story. Look at the next story. Look, oh, what's that? Oh, it's boring. Okay, what's that? Oh, cool. Watch it for 2 seconds. Oh, okay. Yeah, I said this last time. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like, that's not what it's got to be about. You know what I mean? Even
Mhm.
back when the internet, this is not exactly like something, uh, that's a necessity for our lives or anything like that. But whatever, like, you can look up like oh, what was the name of the guy in that movie?
Yeah.
And you could just look it up. You know, like little things like that. Okay,
Yeah, but even
cool.
stuff like that, it's like the fact that we have Google now, it's like we don't need to. Our brains know that we don't need to remember as much stuff.
True.
So we can just
true.
we know that we can look it up later.
I have actually noticed that my spelling is like, I misspell words when I have to write them out now, and I've never really had that problem until recently, since I
Autocorrect.
haven't had to write things out a lot. But yeah, autocorrect
Yeah.
makes it so that I remember people talking about that. That's such a boomer thing. Like I remember,
Yeah.
you know, 10 years ago,
it's
people were
true.
like, these kids don't know how to spell because of autocorrect. It's like, yeah, unfortunately, actually, it kind of came true. Maybe, at least for me, a little bit. It's not like crazy, but you know.
Yeah, I mean, whenever I'm texting, I always use like the fill in the blank thing.
Yeah,
It's like I
yeah.
type in like 3 letters and click, and 3 letters.
Oh,
and,
yeah,
it's like
yeah. No, it's ridiculous.
ridiculous.
And even, you know, some things where, like, you know, I bring up Reddit pretty often. I know you go on it. It's like, a lot of the time, you're kind of just, I mean, for me at least, it's like, what gets pushed to the front page is like, what just catches your attention for a few seconds. You know what I mean? That's it. It's not like, I'm not trying to glamorize it. I'm kind of, you know, I brought up Dignation before, but like back in the days of dig.com, it was like, you know, well, first of all, a lot of the stuff was like genuine news. It wasn't really that many memes and like just like silly little circle jerks of like, haha, this is what we do in our community. You know, right? Are you part of the in group? You know, right? Like this is
Yeah.
what we do. It was just like Apple announces the new iPhone. It's like, okay, you know, I'm not saying that that's a, you know, we can get super deep into it and say like, oh, well, technically an iPhone is not even a necessity. So what's the relevance of that? But, you know, at least we're talking about stuff that's actually happening that like, man, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe because without it, we wouldn't even be in this situation. If it wasn't for the internet blasting everything in our face and we're checking it constantly, there wouldn't be as much hype behind these things. They would have to just do a commercial like back in the day, you know.
Think for a moment.
And even
about
that I have a huge problem with. So
think about a small town with no phones and no internet. How are they doing? Probably good.
well,
If I had to guess, in my mind, I picture, you know, small town, right? Everyone kind of knows each other a little bit.
yeah.
You leave your house. You're like, oh, I gotta go get some bread for today. Get some eggs I'm gonna make some breakfast.
Yeah.
Go to the store and you're like, oh, hey Jimmy, how you doing? And you talk a little bit, get your eggs and your bread. You go home, you make some eggs and bread. You sit there. You just sit there. You eat it. You taste the food. The eggs are like, you know, from a farm in the town. The bread is like from the baker in the town. And you just sit there and you enjoy that food. And then you leave the house again, go for a walk around the town, sit in the park and read a book. Like, this is a romantic view of what life just can be.
And isn't it bizarre that is like you said, it's almost like imagine. It's like that's
I feel
just
like that's like my dream. Is
yeah.
what I want. I want to live in a small town where I know kind of everybody. I don't know everybody really well, but I can say hi to most people that I see.
Yeah.
That's my dream.
Yeah. And unfortunately, that's viewed as like we're talking and we're kind of, you know, we're pretty much, we agree a lot and we're talking about this. If you said that to a random person, you know what? I think if they were being honest and if they were in touch with like their desires in that way, you know, not desires, but like kind of like aware of like, hey man, this situation we're in is kind of messed up, you know, they would agree with that. But a lot of people would be like, oh no, I couldn't live without my phone. Oh my God, I couldn't live without social media. Like I couldn't live without, I feel naked without my iPhone and stuff like that. It's like, It's just,
Yeah, but yeah, right. But if you think about it a little bit further, it's like, isn't that scary?
oh, that's my point. Yeah, I'm not saying like,
Yeah. No,
no,
I
we're
know,
not
I
ready
know.
for that. I mean, like, it is scary that is where we're at. It like, I mean, I'm sure people have said this for thousands of years, but it feels like we're like at the end of something here. You know what I mean? Like, how can it
That's what I'm
get like
saying. Yeah.
what's next? I feel like it's the destruction of it all. Like,
Yeah. I mean, okay. Ideally, the next stage is like some idea of world peace happens, and then as a community of worldly people, we explore the stars.
oh,
That's the only like logical next step, and I don't know if that's happening soon.
yeah. Well, the world peace part, well, I want to say that that's like this a huge undertaking, but it's only a huge
Yeah.
undertaking because there's like 100 people in the world preventing it from happening.
How is the U.S. going to colonize Mars without it being a problem
The
if there's not
only
world peace?
as
It's
is
like,
there the only reason they want to colonize Mars is to extract metals and shit. You know what I mean? Like, and gases and fucking whatever. Like,
yeah, I
you
know
know?
my uncle, he works on Mars. He's a miner
Exactly.
on Mars.
But he's got like a great he's got a great healthcare plan. Like
Yeah.
they pay into it. You
They
know what I
actually
mean?
unionized recently.
Yeah. They didn't get like they took they're getting a 1% raise next year, but like it's gonna be sick in a couple years. I hear they're in negotiation for a new contract. It's gonna be
Yeah.
great. He might be
Yeah.
able to come back. He's coming back in 2032, so it's gonna be sick. I can't
Yeah.
wait to see him.
See his wife and full grown child.
Yeah, exactly. It's
God. What's the
and
point at that point though, really? Sometimes I think, it's like the journey towards knowledge is the point. Obtaining the knowledge, not the point.
okay.
Because then what happens?
Yeah. Well,
Then you just like, what happens when we figure out all of this?
well,
And we're like, we can say with like 97% certainty that this is what's going on. Then what do we do?
well, yeah. The
What
only reason I'm
happens when?
hesitating is because I'm thinking about other stuff. Because yeah, on a personal level, like just when you have your needs met and all this. I'm sorry, I don't mean to make everything about this, but it's like yeah, when you are at the stage where you can seek personal fulfillment in that way, yeah, it's just the people are don't are people already don't have the knowledge apparently. Well, they do, but well, no, because of the way that propaganda works, people already don't even have the most basic knowledge of like, you know, this is going to blow your mind, man. This is going to absolutely rock your world. Just because someone was born in the Middle East doesn't make them less of a human being than you are. Did you know that? Like, they also need food and water and stuff, and they also need to, like, have, like, a roof over their head, and also bombs do also kill them. Like, did you know that? Because a lot of people don't seem to understand that part. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
unfortunately, I'm kind of, sadly, it's not that they don't understand, it's that they just don't care. But they don't care to the point where, like, I genuinely think that, like, there's, like, a cognitive dissonance there where they don't, we all have to know that, right? But somehow you can be a good American, God-fearing person and be like, well, that doesn't concern me. And that's like, well, yeah, we all got to worry about ourselves here. We got to worry about us first. I mean, like, how? Like, it's one thing to be like, oh, I am struggling myself and I can't really worry about that right now. Okay, all right. Like, you got to obviously, okay, fine. If you're struggling and you got to, like, worry about how am I going to feed myself today, different story. But if you're just like, I got a lot to worry about myself. I'm paying off my car payments and I got my mortgage going and I got I'm trying to take the kids to Disney World next next summer, and I can't worry about the fact that we're doing a genocide. Like, like, come on. You need the stuff though. You got to get your car. I mean, because you're a piece of shit if you're driving like a 2012 Dodge Ram. You need the 2023 Dodge Ram, like, and God forbid that thing is only like
The Dodge Ram.
yeah, like, it's just,
God.
yeah.
God.
I mean, it's obvious. We all know this. And, listen, I got a lot on my plate right now. Like, my team isn't doing well. I got the guys at work are doing fucking, they're doing a Super Bowl poll or a Super Bowl bet thing, whatever they call it.
Yeah.
I'm so out of touch with that stuff. We're doing boxes,
boxes.
guys. Come on. We're
Yeah.
doing boxes. I got a lot of money tied up in that right now. But trust me, if I win big, I'm taking my wife out. We're getting a nice steak. It's going to be awesome. You know what I mean? Like, that's what matters, man. Come on. That's what matters.
Well, I mean, the fact is that is what matters, but we make it way more complicated than it needs to be because of the greed of a few people.
Yep. Well, why does it matter? Because people got to live their lives, I guess?
Because people should only be worried about that kind of stuff. We shouldn't like.
Oh, it could matter. Yeah.
Yeah. If we weren't constantly frustrated by the fact that random people are being killed all the time by political games.
Yeah, exactly.
Then people could just chill and make a living and have a life.
Yep. But we can't do that because what you got to realize is that the children that are starving across on the other side of the world who don't know you exist and that don't know that, like, some of them don't know that, like, the internet exists and stuff like that. And that's not saying, oh my God, they live in the Stone Age. They do other things. They know things that we don't. They can probably grow crops and, whatever, things like that. I'm not even trying to assign value to one thing or the other more so in terms of, like, oh, IQ or natural intelligence. It's just circumstances. And
Yeah.
But yeah, just, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. Just pretending like that doesn't exist just for the sake of, you got to realize that those people, they want to take away your freedom. That's what they want to do. You realize that, right?
Yeah.
Like, and the reason why they hate America, and don't you know, America's good because you live there and you're good, right? You're good.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why you say, you're so good that you say, I'd bomb them into the Stone Age. But only because they deserve it. So that makes you good because you said they deserve it. So it's not like you just want to do it for fun. You just want to do it because they deserve it. Because a guy on TV told you that.
Yeah.
So you're a good person then.
Oh my God.
It's mind-blowing.
All right.
All right, yeah. We ready to wrap up here?
I'm ready to wrap
Yeah,
up the
this is
episode,
exhausting.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
It's fun though. I mean,
thank you for using
it's fun to
thank
talk
you for
to you.
using
But...
the internet to watch us speak about how the internet is fucked up.
Yes. Check in next time to consume more of this and neglect the realities of this fucked up world we live in.
Yeah. Let's come together, man. Let's really come together and talk about this shit. It's fun. It's good. It's healthy.
It's yeah. It feels
and
bad to call it
subscribe.
fun right now. Yeah, it feels bad to call it fun after I just said, let's bomb children.
Yeah.
But I don't mean it like
No.
that. You know what I'm saying, man.
I know. Everyone who has heard this conversation, I think understands what we're talking about.
Yeah. Okay.
If you made it this far, there's no question about what we're saying.
Yeah. And if you do have a criticism, leave a comment.
Leave a comment. Literally, at this point, we will address every comment that we get.
100%. Yep.
Wow.
All right. Well, it's been a time that has happened, and I was
a roller
present for
coaster.
it, and you were present for it, and anyone watching, thanks for being present. Okay.
Thank you for
And
being present.
And we are out of here.
Thanks for coming.
This is the Pinemen.